Daddy, where do babies come from?
Honey?
Mommy went to the store.
Oh, well, you see, there's a mommy and a daddy, right?
Right.
And see, when they call Geico, they could save a bunch of money on car insurance.
Oh, really? And that makes them happy?
Yes, that makes them very happy.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we could have this talk, Sunshine.
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
Blog Talk Radio.
So, beloved brothers and sisters, I have asked that we all come together once again because as a people, as a species, as a humanity on this planet, we are currently on a path that has led us all to the threshold of extremely perilous times.
You're not conscious of the presence of God in you. You're afraid of that reality, but with that reality comes responsibility that you don't want.
Without human consciousness, there is no world.
Fear is a crime, my thoughts make the pyramid shine. We the gods, that's a fact, not a theory of mine. The devil exposed, chapter in forever is closed. You forgot who you are, but your melanin knows. Hear yourself with your thoughts, let the medicine go. The dream merchant keep you purchasing lies that keep working. Searching for the magic of wealth of Greek serpents. I never said that I rap, I speak sermons. If I could show the Wizard of Oz beneath the curtain, Satan stole our DNA from my seeds, birthed them, and churched them and taken manhood. That's how they curse men. Before we called Africans touch Mars, I'm back again. Rulers back, put my gun down and use math to win. I made a decision away from the system to quake with division, so they could take them Haitian magicians. But they spirit in the living got Jamaica resistant. Women thinking they a man, yet they pray for submission. Food shopping at McDonald's straight away from their kitchen. Feeding chaos to their children, yet you hate they don't listen. I came from an ancient dimension, we gave an extension to Yaku, they got you in faith and religion. Knew it's a lie, accepted for the sake of tradition. In the depths of your soul, where the Savior's in prison, I break the inscription and code it in a glacier was written. Kalik is on his way there, old without a gray hair. I know when I reach my last breath, I'll make it rain air. Hell is the state you go through, you shouldn't stay there. The devil's still deceiving you now, you think he plays fair? I do the impossible, move super logical, move obstacles with no hands, sit like Costa Zoo. In the dark light of the sky, just like comets do. I left hell and never returned, I'm too conscious to.
Without human beings in this world, conscious human beings in this world, in effect, there would not be a world. We bring the world into being through our consciousness.
Wisest of our wisest elders have repeatedly set down through the ages that which you seek, you already possess. That you are the God you seek. You are the heaven you covet. You are the salvation that you await and pray for so desperately.
I have found my own way to personal salvation.
And he said that the main purpose of all knowledge in the ancient world was for us to become godlike. The object of all knowledge and of all learning and all material wealth was for us to look in the mirror and see God. God shining forth from us.
Allow me to introduce my wealth in black gold. Dramatically travel the back roads of vast globes. I'm beyond your circumference, thorns of a black rose. The Zolmec head on my shoulders still grows. These branches from the tree of life swing up at my shows. My voice keeps bass like the speakers on the bowls. My friends are raw elegance, my teachers are my foes. Hanging demons out to dry, cause they need to get exposed. King upon high, kingdom in the sky, Kalik. Zodiac never blinking my third eye. It don't even need an eyelid, still they wonder why. Telepath rap pulling thunder from the sky. They like, read my mind, yo, you thinking that I'm fly? Well, of course, though, lighting up the chakras in my torso. Christ warrior, no cross, carry the crossbow. Also my sword glow, Jedi with that pure flow. Fire in the cipher, making words flow. Earth, no, I'm on the universal tour, so vast we taking portals and travel to other worlds, yo. You so local, my locale is so new, exotic scenery. That's more than what it seems to be. Popping my collar leisurely, my logic's like TNT explosive. My motive is to prove that the law's great. And always has been, no devil's choosing, it's God's fate. I dodge hate, hopping out Peruvian stargates. Fresher than you'll ever be, stepping inside my embassy. Godzilla mound builder from a tribe called God Hop. You dodge cops still, we make the agents run. In DNA, I write my name in the sun. Sound ocean lyrics, ride the sound waves in the drum. Because getting over the vision, hills are our planet. I'm in the tropics, blowing smoke on the hammock, pondering how Atlantis got thrown in the Atlantic. Now, all you suckers should panic. Praise be independent. All you others is granted. Just hood politicians sell us out for the advantage of business and proposition. Hey, what did he promise he would do when he got signed? If I ain't write the cosmic contract, then it's not mine. They say his lyrics had the spirit to stop crime. Unite the universal family with a hotline. What 800 lyrics you can't with? I'm stuck with this lavish design they fall in love with. Your blood's too thick, it'll probably clog your artery. Evolution is here now, come on and march for me. What are you doing here thinking so retardedly? Why you ain't happy, yo? Why you ain't smart as me? Cause you ain't being yourself, it isn't hard to see. But being someone else is harder to be. Listen.
But there is nothing that you cannot do. Nothing that you cannot achieve, which you conceive in your mind, because Almighty God would not have put the thought there in the first place if you were not capable of doing it.
And yo, what other spit bars, I shine light beams, you call them stars. Shining thoughts ain't reality, albums dropping on Mars. It's a universal market, I started from the garage. I sabotage the plans of digitally playing my cards. I'm the Magi, Malachi, I don't need an alibi. Hey America, blood is leaking at your apple pie. Moroccan war cry, trail of tears on the battlefield. Remove the spell, see the frown appearing on your happy meal. I see the Mason's measurement that's in the golden arches. What an amazing heritage, you didn't know it started. Yeah, every temple, every church, every mosque, every synagogue, even every lodge is a mini solar system. The planets, they are the gods. You act out of ritual, wisdom is getting robbed. Our religion is the motion of celestial jobs. Do you know who took the first man invented from clay? Why you did mold yourself instead of bending to pray? Tell you everything that they forgot to mention to say. We in a time of vampires now blending the day. Thugs are so young like babies, changing men to be gay. Christ actors in the news, leading many astray. Whack rappers sing the blues, but at the end of the day, my math adds up. Big bad Benjamin Bay, yeah. Eventually I know we all meant to decay, but I give you eternal life if you just meant to decay. Hey, Zodiac and rappers, the holy smack, knock the wicked out of them. They ain't got the strength to hold me back. Abstract and pro-fact at the push of a pen. Imagine a new world with the good within men extends far beyond appearance of a hood. You contends as Ray Charles, pro-black, but never looked at his skin. Hey, be calm while I drop these rap bombs upon your ashram or ash ram. Throw your whole catalog in a trash can. 7 circus round, explore beyond your past plans. So I brought the cavalry here. This is the last stand.
So not only do you have to free the land and help liberate the rest of the planet Earth for political power again, you have to do it so that all humanity can once again get back on its proper course. And we can live life as it's supposed to be lived. Become more godlike. The object of this knowledge is to be a reflection of yourself in the mirror of history. And when you look in that mirror, you will see God, because each one of us are in the image of the Creator, the Ancient of Days. And if you truly believe in the Creator, then you know that you cannot accept a life other than the highest in the best manifesto from the center of the universe, a cosmic manifesto to transform and make planet Earth into a paradise globally.
Peace, Black Power family. Welcome to another episode of the Black Psychology Thursdays. Every Thursday at 9 p.m. on Doctrinal Radio, the place where knowledge is born. I'm your host, Knowledge Born Allah, and we definitely got a supreme high science show here today. We got the comrades in the building, the brother Red Pill, the brother Blue Pill, the Supreme Brother Shyaam the Liberator, and we attempting to get this tetragrammaton form. I understand the brother El Amir is in the building, so we're going to go to the phone lines and bring the family in. We're going to be dealing with this high science, and you can't miss this opportunity. I've seen a lot of people chat room filling up, so if you have a question or a comment in the chat room, please make it known, or if you're tuning in live, press the 1 with your question or your comment. And if you're listening remotely, that phone number to call in is 713-955-0707. Again, that's 713-955-0707, and press 1. You'll be placed in the host queue, and we'll bring you in. I see that the brother Shyaam the Liberator is in the building. So, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you, without any further ado, the comrade, the Moorish scientist himself, Shyaam the Liberator.
Assalamu alaikum. What's going on, brother? How's everything?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How's everything?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm surprised you got any speech left. Shit, you know what I'm saying? Last night we're in Boston.
Nah, man. You know, we keep an extra full clip. You know what I mean? It's a lot dealing with. It's a lot dealing with this Moorish knowledge. You know what I mean? I'm never exhausted. You know what I mean? I live for this. You know what I'm saying? Always keep some extra shots. It's nothing. Appreciate you having me on and all of that. You know what I mean? Definitely honest to you.
The honor is mine. Let me drop this for you. In case somebody try to follow you on, one of them shared teams try to follow you on, Jake. You know what I'm saying? We got to make sure we exterminate. You know what I'm saying?
You already know what it is. Word up.
Your air-like in the building, man. El Amir, he in the building.
Yeah, comrade. Yeah, that's the homie. That's my brother from another mother. You know what I mean? Definitely the comrade. You know what I mean? Always keep the extra clip as well. You know, we've been so as you. What's the deal, Al? What's going on?
Peace. What's good?
All right,
yeah, that's what it is. So, I mean, you know, just let me know what it is, brother. You know what I mean? We here to answer whatever questions, you know what I mean, people have, whatever kind of perspective they want, you know what I mean? Be ready.
Right, no doubt. I seen that there was a distinction made. I know we kind of labored on it. I know you, both of you brothers spoke on it last night, but I know y'all standing in solidarity with the brother Sharif-Bey as far as where he stands to on Sunday. You know what I mean? But y'all gave a unique perspective, which is, as far as your organization is concerned. Could you share that with the people? You know, detailing your purposes, because y'all went into some purposes as a custodian, basically, of the archives and all things pertaining to Moorish history and Moorish science. So could y'all go into that?
Definitely. Well, we do a lot of. We have a lot of different things. We have a lot of different things going. Our main goal is to provide solutions for Moors. You know what I mean, and people generally speaking. And you know, the thing about it is, one of the ways we intend on bringing those solutions is by bringing various different entities that addresses the problems that our community faces. And Al-Muraka Society, the Historical Society, is simply one of those solutions, which is, you know, over the years we found and saw that there was a great need to establish some type of forum and situation that would allow us to have archive, a library, museum of sorts, where all of the information pertaining to Moors from the BC era to the AD era, and make it accessible to Moors. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much the function of our research aspect of things. You know what I mean? Researching the deep technicalities of history and law and the politics of the Moors, and so that we can present that, because what we realized that there was a lack of knowledge and a lack of factual information, you know what I mean, that was existing on the market. There was a lot of people that would present certain ideas and certain information as if they were factual, but they wasn't factual once we researched it. So, you know, that's one of them that we provided. We also formed our own government, you know what I mean. The way we set ours up is very unique in a different way that other people proclaim to have it, because when you start looking at some of the things other people were saying they had, we start digging into it. It wasn't really legitimate like that, so we knew there's going to be a time when our people wake up to a certain level, and once they come to the realization that they want to make certain moves, we need to have that avenue available for them, you know what I mean? So we've done that. We've also formed a private attorney general's office, or privateattorneygenerals.com. You know what I mean? That's the site where we've created. It's an entity we've created to allow. I'll let Elamir go into it more detail, but I'm just giving you a roundabout of just some of the different things that we provide. But that pretty much is to show brothers and sisters and people in general how to bring civil action properly for the sake of that. You know what I mean? How to get remedy in a proactive form for some of the things that are happening to our people, whether that's police brutality, you know what I mean, our people getting shot down, different things like that. 720 Entrepreneurs is an entity that we formed to help people in general, but specifically Moors, who want to go into business or who want to be entrepreneurs, because my background is I've been dealing with businesses and setting up companies since I've been 19 years old, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of information, a lot of successes, a lot of failures that I, encountered along the way, so that I decided, look, this is one of the things we need to add to the repertoire. So, it's a lot of different things. There's a lot more entities that we have. We have Ron Marcel, a clothing line that is Moorish inspired, and it's the return of that classic feel. Something to give us something that we can be proud of, that's not going into the Europeans' pockets. So there's just a lot of different things that we're doing, but America's society is by far the most pertinent to the Moors at this particular point, because, like I said, it's a historical society. I'll let you build on some more of that, L.
No doubt. And we also formed the Moorish Political Action Committee because there was no PACs in the Moorish community prior to that. We also needed to have a proper basis for drafting legislation that's in favor of the Moorish community, or any self-identifying Moors, because that's something that as well. We also formed the Moorish American Party, which is dealing with politics and stuff. A lot of these different ground, and sky's the limit with them. But as far as the private attorney general's office, that organization is not per se exclusive to Moors. One of these entities the society established for the general public that's interested in bringing civil rights actions, executing administrative processes as far as issues with local government, so on and so forth.
I'm breaking up a little bit, brother.
That organization is surrounding is civil litigation and executing administrative processes, obtain relief for civil rights violations and any other kind of infringement on personal property rights.
All right, so from what I gathered, from what has been,
if you don't mind, something else I just want to add, if you don't mind, is because I remember you saying that we're in solidarity with the brother. We're in solidarity with the brother Sharif as a Moor in general terms. You know what I mean? Because we support all Moors, but that there are some theological and doctrinal differences that we disagree with the Moorish Science Temple. You know what I mean? As far as how our people should be moving forward and what our agendas should be, and what some of the things that we need to do in order to move forward and progress. So I just want to add that to it.
Word. I see my brother done checked in, so we 3/4 away this tetragrammaton. So I'm gonna bring the comrade in, one half of KTL University, KTL Empowerment. One of my mentors in this game, esteemed comrade and Bloody Blade. You know what I'm saying? Let me drop these bombs for the brother Blue Pill. Peace, Blue.
Peace, Blue. Peace, greetings. Peace to the family, peace to you and yours. Indeed. Shout out to the panel. Shout out to everybody in the building. Cheyenne the Liberator. Elamir, my brother Knowledge Born of Law. Entire listening audience. Those that are in attendance live, those that will be checking us out in the archive. Peace, family. It's amazing. How these seasonal winds blow and they bring all of these elements back together. That's so very necessary. I woke up feeling charged and revitalized after last night's show. And, I felt that it's definitely something that we need to do more regular. So being able to follow it up right here tonight on your platform is honorable, because I feel that, again, like the brother had said last night, this is an opportunity, based on them making this challenge or ringing this alarm or what have you, opportunity for us to come together and tell a story that needs to be told. So we're in the building, we here.
Peace.
That's powerful. Most definitely with this narrative, see, all of us got a semblance of family lineage and legacy. You see what I'm saying? Period. Like from phenomenally strong and sound family. You see what I'm saying? Like we have really eroded the term brother. You see what I'm saying? Like in the most malefic sense of the word, we use the word brother to describe one another. You know what I mean? Like I don't need no Cain and Abel brothers. You know what I'm saying? It's enough of that out there in the streets. You know what I'm saying? So we really running around with the term brother, man, and we really just mean like enemy to one another. But a thing that I could say that truly hold true. You know what I'm saying? With the brothers that's assembled right now, there's truly some brotherhood and some manhood. You see what I'm saying?
I think that what you're touching on is the crux of what it is that is the it's at the crux of this conversation. The fact that you have what is perceived to be a community, right, or cohesive network that maybe gets together 2 or 3 times out of the week, and they make videos and they project imagery to the rest of the world that makes it appear as if there's some sort of unity involved or some brotherhood, when in all actuality there is no brotherhood involved, there is no unity, you know, and these individuals have now made it possible to call to task these said organizations that's supposed to be the templates and the face of what real brotherhood looks like, you know, not only on the surface but fraternal brotherhood, things that run even deeper than, you know what I'm saying, external ties, family ties, blood.
Yeah, right.
So, you know, it harkens me back to a time when I came into the information and the knowledge, you know, and we had a fraternal situation set up, you know what I'm saying, with the Clock of Destiny. And I'm forever thankful that that's how the majority of what was taught to me was taught in those settings, you know, amongst true brothers, people that I still see at the forefront right now doing their thing. So, yeah, we do stand in solidarity with our brother because we know where he comes from and we know his heart, you know, even though we may have differences with the organization. Like the brother said, ideological differences, we know that brother is good ones indeed. That's our brother, you know what I'm saying? So we stand with our brother. And by standing with our brother doesn't even necessarily mean that we're standing against these other brothers. You know what I'm saying? They have come forth and asked some legitimate questions, and they caught Moors at a time when, you know, Moors was caught up. So, you know, this clarion call has caught the attention, and, you know, instead of their heads being in the sand, now people's heads is out of the sand and they looking up. And that forces a good opportunity to get people's attention and bring together some cohesiveness. And that's what we're witnessing.
Right.
Yeah, I think, you know, you said that perfectly, Boo. You know what I mean? Definitely said that perfectly. You know, the thing is, I think we're at a time now where when we're talking about this brotherhood, you know, that's something I've always been big on. You know, back in the day, when I would say I was in my early 20s, you know what I'm saying? I was running around doing my thing, whatever, having my little companies or whatever, and I would run into Italians, Anglo-Americans, Indian dudes, Japanese, Chinese dudes, you know, just my age, a little bit older. You know, everybody was getting money, everybody was doing their thing. And when it came time to, you know, invest in things or make certain moves, you know, they could go to their group. You know what I'm saying? They could go to their group and get the resources they need to make the moves they need. And I couldn't. I had to hustle and do what I had to do to get my bread up just to be at the table. And I learned in my early 20s that if you don't come with your brothers, everybody else going to make you kiss their ass to be a part of their group. You know what I'm saying? And so from that point, I always realized that without brotherhood, you know, like I want to eat with me and mine. I want to eat with my people. I want to eat with my brothers. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to, yeah, we can go get money and we can go get power and we can go do business with other, you know, other venues, other groups. But if you're not coming with your own group, you food. You're not, you know what I mean? You're not at the table. So you're not sitting at the table from a strong position. And I think where we're at now, with everybody that you may see that's out here saying something that's a character that's got some kind of following, whatever it is, I think it's coming to the point where if we really want real progress, we gotta decide. We gotta decide who the leader going to be. You know, that got to be a collective discussion. You know, the people have to decide. This is just my perspective. You know what I mean? You know, when I'm looking at the landscape and I'm looking at what everybody got. Matter of fact, let's just take corporate America for example. You know, it's a pool full of sharks in corporate America, but they yield to whoever got the smartest or the best plan, or whoever got the most knowledge on a particular thing. Even if the leader don't have the most knowledge on that particular thing, he'll bring others around that got more knowledge on that particular issue than he does. You see what I'm saying?
Leader.
So I think a lot of our people, they say, oh, we need to lead ourselves. We don't need no leaders. I think that's backwards. I think we at a point now where we got to define who we're going to get behind. what we're going to get behind, what program, who's bringing what to the table, who got stripes, who can prove this, who can prove that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Excellent. And I really hope that that's what we get to on Sunday. I hope that this is a forum to put those things on the table. You know what I'm saying? They're not allowing someone who has no stripes, who has no credentials, who has no plan to question, you know what I'm saying, the great plan. But we need to take a real assessment of exactly where has that plan moved forward to. So I'm looking on Monday to be gaining a level of momentum where we know, you know, once we got past the remedial things, that we could form like Voltron and get anything done that needs to get done. You know what I'm saying? Because I do not understand why there is any level of limited progress with as much information, knowledge, and potential that we have as a unit. It's just a lack of cohesiveness as a unit. Now, that said, for some people, you know, brothers like Shyaam and Elamir, they have exhibited a level of cohesiveness that has outlasted all of the critics. You feel me? So they still here together as a unit, stronger than ever, doing what needs to be done.
Honest
That's
for the
honorable.
acknowledgement.
You know what I'm saying?
Honest for the acknowledgement, bro.
Honest.
Real honest.
Indeed. You know, we bear witness. So, but at the same time, you know what I'm saying, we've seen people come and go. You know, we've seen organizations, you know, get like the battleships and shit, they get hit on the side, boom. And they still taking water, like they haven't fixed those patches yet. You know what I'm saying? You know, they're ballooning on the side, shit like that. So what is the vision? You feel me? Like we have to have some sort of tangible goal line as a collective to say, look, this is where we trying to get. And I ask these brothers every weekend that I'm out there, what's the aim? What's the focus? How do you gauge where you're going with this thing? Like, what does this consist of? You trying to teach everybody metanoia? You know, you trying to rebuild a pyramid? You feel me? Dr. York did that. We trying to get land. We trying to change the infrastructure of the copper piping throughout New York. What are we trying to do collectively? Or we just want to look good on camera? But I've been there and I've done that. So what's next? So, you know what I mean? So you get this thing where the people at the back of the train are now driving the train, and you got people that's at the front of the train that already been in the back, like, what the fuck is going on? So, yeah, we do need to have some sort of elect in the community. It's time for that. You know, we have people that are considered non-elected leaders in the community, right? Anytime somebody get into some sort of drama, the first thing that's in the headline is, oh, the leader of the conscious community, you know what I'm saying, got caught with a stripper. Now he's the leader of the conscious community? So somebody could become a self-proclaimed leader, and that leadership is only going to be recognized during times of travesty, you know, or when that when their integrity is being called into question. But outside of that, no one else is taking time to line up behind that particular person and their directives to say, this is what we riding, this is what we dying for. You know what I'm saying? We're going all out for this. We're going to organize and campaign door to door, grassroots. Where's that at? You know? Black Lives Matter got leadership. They got door to door organizing and shit. You feel me? And we know what their ranks consist of.
Indeed.
So, you know, it's like we don't want to make the comparisons, but look how we getting outpaced at our own game. So yeah, I think that the time has definitely come amongst us, especially with Moors. You know, I think right after this debate is done, we might have to have a closed door meeting on a Monday to get some of these situations situated, get some things ironed out, and get an idea, even as Moors, like collectively, where are we going with this? You know, do we have a database for the most updated information? What works versus what doesn't anymore? You know, how has the playing field changed? Are we adapting to these changes?
What?
You know, we are in we're in an election year. Why don't we have any political action committees? These brothers have something on the boards. Can we resurrect it in time? You know what I'm saying? Do we need to run up on Trump at his next rally with the T-shirts on to get some free publicity? Shit, it's getting Black Lives Matter $15 million donations. Fuck.
You know, just to add on to that. I mean, everything you're saying is, you hurting a lot of feelings right now, bro. I was thinking about taking it a little easy, like the scimitar right now. I was gonna go light, you know what I'm saying? But nah, so, just to corroborate what you're saying, let's look at the landscape. You know what I'm saying? Black Lives Matter is getting all this bread, all this guap, right? They getting George Soros is in the pocket, Jay and Beyonce giving dollars for it, and it's the ability to mobilize, and they don't even have a political agenda. They just there to harass whoever is out there. You know what I'm saying? With certain facts and certain information. Now, the interesting thing about it is that
look. Hold on. They're using memes that you'll find on any conscious timeline. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
I just seen them run up on Bill Clinton in Philadelphia about, the sentencing guidelines of 94 and the super predator. These are all things that people is making memes about and the conscious people is talking online about, but they throwing them shits on placards and running up in venues and getting FaceTime on free press.
Right.
Please continue.
No, you're right. And the thing is that I think what has to happen is there has to be a domestic agenda and an international agenda. Within those agendas, there has to be initiatives to meet those agendas, direct goals, and a clear-cut way of achieving them. When I say that, I say this. We have a holistic vision and plan that we, in the right time, will definitely be more than willing to present. But just taking from that template that me and L always discuss, because, for us it's a lifestyle. Having this type of, the reason every entity we formed is not made for making money, you know what I'm saying, per se. It's made like business. What we teach at 720 entrepreneurs is that business is problem solving. You know what I mean? You start a business to solve a problem generally. And our community, our people, we have problems that need solving. You see what I'm saying? So everything we create is based around that. Now, just building off that, the issue at hand is when we're looking at the agenda that has to be put together and that has to be, addressed, we have to have something that addresses mass incarceration. See, the reason I call myself the liberator is because I'm here for the war. I'm not here for nothing else. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here for, it's just like what I play in the beginning with Styles, the Styles freestyle, where he says, I'm a rebel in the land of the peasants on the front line when they rise up. You know what I mean? I'm here for that. Everything else is cool, but that's what I'm here for. And being that I'm here for that, the issue at hand is we losing too many soldiers from the womb, through their youth, through their teens, through misguidance, and being preyed on by this criminal justice system. So we bleeding, and we got to stop the hemorrhaging. That's goal number one. What can we do to stop the encroachment upon our soldiers? You got some people who focus on the sisters and healing them. All that's good. Everything that a lot of people are doing is good. But we in war. The crusades never stop. So how do we stop the hemorrhaging? So, you got people that come at us and get angry because we those rebellious Moors. You know, we want to challenge jurisdiction. We want to get out of their jurisdiction. We saying get rid of their citizenship. We saying let's separate. Let's break away. And this is how we do it. That's step one for us. The key is economics and politics and law. Those three you cannot separate. So in order for us, they've already showed you it don't matter how much money you got. We can take you down. It does not matter how much money you got. They've already showed that. So the issue is, how do we get the money and protect it? Well, we need to take certain precautionary steps to make sure that when they do encroach upon us, it's not justified by them simply saying, oh, they under our jurisdiction. They belong to us. Those still our niggas. You see what I'm saying? So that's one of the things that has to be addressed that we have solutions for. And then the second thing is, how do we enfranchise ourselves? Because the scheme is to keep us disenfranchised. So that means we have to form businesses. It don't matter where the money come from. When they started saying crowdfunding, and you can have $500 million in equity, and you can crowdfund and crowdsource everything, that made it so we have no excuse no more because we spend $1 trillion a year. A trillion plus a year, saying that if we was our own country, we'd be the 13th or 16th largest country. So there's no excuse about where the money going. I'm not throwing shots, or maybe I am throwing shots, but they put bread up with this one and that one with no clear, concise plans of what's going to be done with this bread, and no way to benefit off of the investing in these particular things. Some of these ideas that get thrown out there, I can come up with that shit in my sleep. You know what I'm saying? So the issue at hand is making moves to enfranchise ourselves, then enfranchising ourselves politically, because your business moves is all predicated on what the powers that be in politics allow you to do. So that's why I say economics, politics, and law go hand in hand, all three of those. That is the trinity right there. And we have to have plans that allow us to maneuver in a way where they cannot stop what we're doing. And I know for a fact that we have specifically developed solutions for that. You know what I'm saying? So anybody who's professing to be a leader, anybody who wants to be in leadership, they have to be able to answer all of the questions with no hiccups on what we do in every situation. This is what they do to the presidential campaign. Look, they telling us to choose between Ted Cruz, Trump, Bernie Sanders, and Hillary Clinton. Where's what's up with our presidential campaign, our elections? What's up with that? Who are we electing to lead us? And when they when they have these political debates, they ask them, what's your plan for the budget? What's your plan for the foreign policy? What's your plan for this? What's your plan for that? You know what I'm saying? Whoever wants that spot, they got to be able to answer these questions through and through.
Right.
I know we can.
Right. Like I said, it's a beautiful dichotomy or juxtaposition that's taking place. You know what I'm saying? And on the one hand, like you said, you have this presidential primary taking place, you know, and then on the other hand, you have the community, right, that's going through their inner conflicts, where, as I see it, this debate is a candidacy as well. You know, it's primary. It's this group is running with their agenda against this said group to see if they even have an agenda. So it should be very interesting, you know, and I just pray that our brothers that are representing the Moorish banner, that they see that, you know what I'm saying? And they don't what exact task here, because this is a campaign for the hearts and the minds of the people. And then when it comes to the people, man, you know, you got to understand that the people have a low cognition of understanding exactly what's taking place. So we could give the people the benefit of the doubt, but putting the power in the people's hands is very dangerous at this particular point in time, because you could just see through the conversation that they don't really know what the hell is going on. And their quote-unquote leaders do not know what the hell is going on. So this is very dangerous. You feel me? And I didn't want to drag this conversation out into the public for our adversaries to exactly know, perceived to be in leadership positions, don't know shit. You feel me? And the people that can actually help in the situation are the ones that are being attacked. And when you're thinking about it in terms of intel, when you're thinking about it in terms of, you know, people looking in like the brother Sharif had the show titled yesterday, the quote-unquote, you know, European plot and collusion to suppress Moorish history. You know, these are very interesting times. You know what I'm saying? Because everything that I've seen post 9/11 has been maneuvering on their parts to adjust, taken by way of the Moors.
Right.
You know, take it how you want.
Blue, let me bring in the other half of KTL Empowerment, KTL University, KTL Radio. Our brother, your brother. Now we got a supreme high science Moorish tetragrammaton. Let me bring in the brother Red Pill. Let me drop these for Red Pill.
God damn.
What up?
What up? What's goody? What's good with the family? Peace to the fam. Peace to the Do the Knowledge family. Salute. You know what I'm saying? Peace to Blue Pillar. Peace to the guy Shyaam, Knowledge Born Allah. The rest of the Moors, Sharif Anil Bey, Islam. All of my brothers in the MSTA.
Elamir's on the line too.
Elamir, salute. Assalamu alaikum, my brother. You know.
Salute.
Indeed, salute. Before we even continue, I said it last night, but I want to say it again. Thank you for your demonstration last night. It felt like old times again. You know what I'm saying? That's just, you know, it's needed, and we must continue to have dialogue such as the one that we had last night. I'm even going to take it as far as to say that we need to have seminars and conferences where, you know, because the audio aspect of doing podcasts, I love it, but I know that we are living in a visual world. And like Shyaam said, we have reached a level of our scholarship to the point where it's time to begin to vet each other. And we're going to be able to do that in front of the people and behind closed doors. So I feel that these conversations that we're starting here on this preliminary level should begin to grow and expand. Our Moors that are out there in large numbers should support us. They should be, you know, we should have resources that would allow us to go into venues that are not like basement, backyard, you know, seedy environments. We want to go into hotel, we want to go into the halls of, we want to go into conference rooms. Like when we would initially meet back in the days, we met on Wall Street inside of a multi-million-dollar facility that held entities, multi-dollar, you know, and this was courtesy of dealing with someone who dealing with quality of membership, and that was Shyaam and Elamir. They brought the quality of membership to the table.
They had the plug.
You know, we was. I don't want to name the name of the building. If you want to do that, Shyaam, I won't put all the info out there. But we were coming together to speak about.
You know what's funny is, just a side note, real quick. You know, we was in some litigation, and with the federal district, and you know, we had filed some stuff that was like, well, you know, to waive the fees. We didn't want to pay the fees. You know what I'm saying? And they looked at a video that we did. Remember the video we did on the Noon Project joint? And they was like, oh, they got the money. They got offices on Wall Street. Like, so I'm gonna leave the company name out. But we was out there on Fulton Street down there down there on right where they built the new right where they built that new train station. You know what I'm saying? Right there downtown Manhattan.
The Oculus. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we was there anytime we needed to, you know what I mean, do something and link it in. We was there. You know what I'm saying? We still got other plugs too, everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. You know, our Moorish network is very vast. We've been building it up, building quality and membership up for a long time. It's just, you know, we just been working on what we've been working on, but we always could use more support. So, and I just want to say too, y'all brothers from the RIP always supported us in what we was doing. Never had a rift with these brothers. You know what I'm saying? Anytime I needed an outlet, anytime they was always there to support. You know what I'm saying? And man, I could go on for days. So I just want to give y'all definitely honors and salute. You know what I'm saying? But you already know.
No doubt.
Yeah,
Indeed. No doubt. So let's get it in. I mean, we here. I want the brother Knowledge to do what he does best and facilitate his questions and lay it out.
Yeah, I know we talking strategy, and also it was something that was alluded to in the conversation last night about a constant media platform. I know the brother Shyaam has a platform that he builds on. I think more than one platform. But y'all know, just like y'all got to connect over there at KTL, whatever the brothers got, you know, whatever the brothers and sisters, whatever the organizations, whatever y'all need to promote or y'all want to build, whatever, y'all know this is a platform for y'all as well. You see what I'm saying? I kind of got the KTL universal platform, you know what I mean? However, I'm very partial to certain people that we have established relationships with, and this is like no other. What I wanted to say also is from 20 years ago to now, if you look at, you know, a lot of things that was going on, I'm honored to have been around all of that time, but also, you know, representing like the third to fourth generation of the work that's being put in. You know what I'm saying? So as far back as C. Freeman L to right now, so you had C. Freeman L and you had everybody in that paradigm, and then you had Alim Bey and everybody in that paradigm which would encompass the brothers on the phone, and then you got the people who glean from those generations from the work that y'all put in to these inheritors, you know what I'm saying, my generation and below, who's carrying on this work. So when we put all of that together and look at it in a battle form sense, these terms that we use are collective terms, but they're also identifiers within the paradigm that allude to justice. You see what I'm saying? So if we look at the term Islam, if we look at the term Allah, if we look at the term, you see what I'm saying? Like all of these terms are liberation terms. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, for people to have an issue, they don't get no more revolutionary regardless throughout the history, even if you're just looking at the history in the wilderness of North America alone. You see what I'm saying? So when you say you have an issue with somebody who comes in the name of Allah, you got issues with a whole lot of people. It's not just in the juncture, but also you got issues with people who have solutions to problems, to real problems that they facing in their life, and they can go somewhere and get a remedy and not a napkin. A napkin ain't a fucking remedy. You see what I'm saying? A napkin don't even qualify as a Band-Aid. So we talking about a historical, ancestral group of people who have always been on the front lines for justice against oppression, and also have always been prepared to take and give their life in that defense. If you look at the Islamic paradigm, Prophet Muhammad said, none of you will truly believe until you want for your brother what you want for yourself. And there's a verse in the Quran, the 29th chapter, the second verse. It says, do the believing people think that simply because they say that they believe that they will be left alone and will not be tested? So we're looking at two dynamics that's being played out right here. We're looking at the first dynamic saying that a successful battle on the battlefield is what they say. It's only two ways to lead a battlefield: victorious or dead. You see what I'm saying? So we prepare for either one on one, and then on the other one, we see this as a trial. You see what I'm saying? We see this as a test. So we looking at it. It's not in the failure that there's a test. In the victory, there's the test. So just what the brothers have been alluding to earlier in the conversation, what happens next is most critical. So what happens in the course of this battle, because this is a bloody battle, you can't disguise warfare from somebody who prepared for war at all times. You see what I'm saying? You can't say, well, we're just talking about information. Now, you're talking about information. Information goes all the way back to the DNA coding. So when you say, I'm banging on your information, you're banging on my life force. You understand what I'm saying? So the instructions that's encoded in my DNA that tells my body how to grow and develop is under attack. So you got to look at what's at stake. So what else is there in the genetics? Your ancestry and lineage. You see what I'm saying? All the way back from the beginning to now. But you know we ain't got no birth records. So you're attempting to place or levy sanctions against something that is timeless, but something that is real with a fiction. Something that is false. You see what I'm saying? Something that has no rules, something that has no regulations, something that has no boundaries. It's just whatever. Anybody can do from anywhere at any time, no guidelines. People can just say what they want, whatever. And if they put on some type of garments, they're supposed to be accepted. This is foolishness. You see what I'm saying? So knowing that whole buildup, what's at stake is everything. Everything. We got generations that we working for 4 or 5 generations into the future that these solutions will work for them. These other ones ain't got nothing for them. They only got one for tomorrow. If it rains, their whole shit's fucked up. You see what I'm saying? So it would be okay if it was just like, okay, me and such gonna have a personal conversation. Nah, when you start going at a whole lineage of people, you got a whole hell of a lot of war to pay for. So, and I normally don't even get into this type of discourse. You see what I'm saying? But knowing this is my family name. When you call my family name, you asking for warfare. I can't piece this up. You can't brother your way out of this shit. You see what I'm saying? You called my family name. So now it's war. Because you done offended my family, so now we got war. You see what I'm saying? So I see the stage is set, and I see a lot, that's going on, and I see a lot of people that's out now that's coming out now, which is beautiful. You see what I'm saying? But some of this stuff can't allow to be slide. So I'm just glad and I'm charged up. You know what I'm saying, that my family is on, and making it happen. What y'all doing? But I really want to know that was a long way to ask a question. You know what I'm saying? I probably should have just asked the question.
I want to add to that what you said, though. I know what you said earlier, too, Blue. Not that we necessarily going against those other brothers, but I got to point something out. Moors have never disrespected Kemet and always have embraced Kemet. Moors have never disrespected the Black Power brothers. Moors was just simply saying we're not black. But you got people in the Kemite community and even in that Black Power community that said when the war is on, we coming for the Moors' head. We coming to chop the Moors' heads off. wanting to put the onus of everything that's wrong with the community on the Moors or the Muslims or anybody that rock with anything of an Islamic nature, when it has always been the Islamic element among us that has been the revolutionary element. You could go back to the slave trade and even look back in Brazil. It was the Muslims that popped off for the freedom down there, and it was the Muslims in Haiti that popped off for the freedom in Haiti. So it's like, those brothers was talking some real nonsense for quite some time, talking about, we coming to kill them all, we coming to serve. What kind of, make you think, make you wonder.
That same brother was on Young Turks like a couple weeks ago, and he was getting questioned.
He's just one of them.
Statements he made, and he got questioned on whether or not, violence was a part of, a reasonable response to the different things he was talking about as far as oppression and, mass incarceration and all that. But he had no violent energy when he was on the Young Turks. He made it clear he didn't want to hurt nobody, But on YouTube, it's cut the Moors' heads off. You know what I'm saying? So, I know
who was on Young Turks?
I don't remember the brother's name. Is it Shock or something? Or
we'll get it. We're gonna dig for you.
He got a YouTube video talking about the right to travel, and in that video he's taking shots at Moors, because Moors is cognizant of their right to travel, and
right.
In that same video he starts talking about they need to kill Moors.
Wow.
Black man.
Oh yeah. I mean, my whole thing is, like I said, with the program that has been initiated post 9/11, it was only a matter of time, because this was all the plan to have, set organizations turn against Moors, and they're going to utilize them as intel to designate who's who and what's what. So they could plot and plan about how they're going to move forward, move into 2020. So, I mean, it's just a program. And you got to see it as such. And, we just have to be mindful about how we move and we respond to aggregators. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's just going to be reactionary. And when a situation like that is set up, it's a trap. You know what I mean? That you're always going to have somebody sitting on the other side waiting for the reaction.
Word. I think we drummed up another soldier. You know what I'm saying? So now we got the tetragrammaton +1, ladies and gentlemen. Sheik Sharif and now L-Bey is in the building, so we're going to bring the brother in. We're going to bring the brother in. You know what I'm saying?
There it is.
We got the Apollo Creeds up in the building. You know what I'm saying? Let me drop this for Sharif.
Thank you, brothers and sisters. Y'all ready for this?
Assalamu alaikum, Sharif. What's the deal, brother?
Walaikum salam. Islam, everybody.
Peace. The good brother said his phone died last night, so this is part 2. I assume we pick up where we left off.
My battery died on you. I was in motion. My battery died. My bad. It was a great show last night. And I just came on. I just heard, about, and I'm aware, and my team is aware, of some of these other elements amongst our people talking reckless about Moors and talking about putting hands on Moors. I mean, it's interesting because even my opponent in this debate talks about, she wants to portray it in a negative way about, how Moors pop off. I mean, history, if you know the history, you might be a little careful about who you're talking about popping off on, and let's just be real. Let's be real. You know, most of the individuals talking like this are talking like this just to get, just to get attention. When you see them in person, you really are looking at. It's like, wait a minute, I must have met that person's representative. I want to meet the person that was talking reckless online. You know what I'm saying?
Like, where's that person at? Yeah. Did they show up yet? You got a twin? God damn it.
Right. So, yeah, it's all good. You know, and I mean, and to be, and just, to be just straightforward about it, it's all love. It's like, when you see a brother, you know how it is. Men understand it. When you can press a man's hand and look him in his eye, man, and feel his vibration, you know what I'm saying? You know who the real killers are. You know the cats that just okay, you're a keyboard warrior. And a lot of times that energy's not even there. When it comes to the Moors, and see, Red Pill, you put me onto this. When it comes to the conscious community, they just don't see us. We're not there. And so you hear a lot of animosity or whatever, but then when you show up like we did for the polite, they use all love. Like, they treat us like celebrities. And that's just the truth of it. They treated us very warmly and very kindly. It wasn't adversarial at all. So
you know why?
What's that?
A unified, uniformed demonstration will beat out, you know what I'm saying, what on the surface, because when you see it, it's always individualistic. This shit can look grouped together on the couch, but when you see them in public, just like when the Moors ran down on him on 125th, all of his people cut ass and left him alone. You know what I'm saying? So when the Moors unified, like I said, there's nothing more magnetic than the cohesiveness of brotherhood. You understand? So that demonstration within itself is always going to overshadow something that's trying to come against it or combat it. Because all of that stuff is just talk. It's just, it's electricity in the air.
Right.
But when you show up, it's no tangibility involved. It's not real. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, he's a lone gunman. You feel me? But the lone gunman is always the patsy. So, check it. You feel me?
And I would add on.
I'm trying to tell you, like you said, this is deeper than what we're looking at on the surface.
Yes. And I would add on. I'm sorry.
This is like, I would say it was a coin tail chess move, but you know what I mean? I keep my thoughts to myself in that regard.
Hello?
You trying to say something? Yeah.
Yeah. I was saying that the demonstration, not only on Sunday, but from this point on, is really predicated on the Moors, showing a unified, cohesive, collaborative effort when it comes to going out and teaching our people, not in response or in defense for somebody, being an agitator, you know what I'm saying, or provocateur towards the information, because of the simple fact that this modern day movement of consciousness and information, like Blue said, it revolves around demonstration. And it also revolves around coming together and showing the people or teaching the people, because I'm going to keep it a buck. Like Sharif said earlier, a lot of the animosity that is perceived online is not real, and when you show up in real life, it doesn't even exist. It doesn't show itself. It acquiesces to unity. It acquiesces to when the truth, because when the truth is in a building, only the person on the complete opposite, the fakest of fakest, or the nigga who must be really getting cut a check, for real, like a real check, those going to be the only ones that's going to stand up in the face of that truth. Because when the Moors show up, the next thing that everybody is just waiting for them to do is to demonstrate. And when you're demonstrating amongst people who are not, they're neophytes, they don't have the information, they don't understand the lessons, they're not in the chamber So you got to give them information that pertains to their situation. You feel what I'm saying? So one of the most important lessons that the Moors have to offer is the story about what happened before 1492, from 711 all the way into 1492. Why is that information important? Because that information is important because I don't care if you're a Kemetic, I don't care if you subscribe to the Hebrew Israelites, I don't care if you're a Nyabingi Rastafarian, I don't care if you're from the Nation of Islam, right? If you don't understand the story that is actually the story that helps fix the virus or the malware that you got downloaded into your subconscious, into your mind by Jewish teachers, right? Who are following, they're following an edict that's put forth by the Board of Education and other social engineers to basically revise history.
Yeah. No, all of that comes out of Texas by way of the Jesuits. Please continue.
Yes. And this is a continuance of the Inquisition and the Crusades is coming down not only from Texas, Blue, this shit is coming from the Vatican.
No, hold on. I said the textbooks.
Oh, the textbooks are coming out of
Texas. From Texas, but the Jesuits are the ones that have to pre-approve them. So yes, it's coming out of the Vatican.
The Papal Bull, right? The Papal Bull that we could show the family is coming out of the church. So all of these people are affected by the story of our inception, our creation myth, or how we became niggers, or how we became Negroes, or how we became coloreds, and how we became blacks. And they don't know that story because the scholars of Afrocentric teachings and Pan-Africanism, for some really strange, odd reason, they missed out on 500 years of pertinent information as to how the fuck we got put into chains. So, and I'm talking about Moors in the temple as well, because it's come to my understanding that they don't know this information, and some of them were being, they were getting caught off guard by this brother coming with information. He picked up books that may have not been subscribed by the temple. He was picking up books about our illustrious history, and he was going in like, oh, shit, what's this? That's why I said he was asking questions for 4 months. He wasn't saying he could only ask questions because there was nobody to answer him. But what happens when somebody shows up and answers, wait, what are you talking about? The eunuchs, those were vassals, wait. Then it turns into a conversation. When you're just talking to the camera and there's nobody around you, you're asking questions. So there are Moors that we have to charge to answer the fucking questions, pardon my French. But
what's interesting about the Pan-African element is Edward Blyton. It appears that historians or black historians in the 1800s, like Blyton, was well aware that their circumstances was in direct relation to the doctrine of discovery. So, Blyton is credited as the father of Pan-Africanism, but he converted to Islam and found Islam was superior to what he developed that became Pan-Africanism. But, I just have to bring that up because that's real interesting, issue is that brothers a couple 100 years ago knew more than what most of us know today.
Yes. So I'm saying this, fam. I'm just saying that, and this is based on conversations that I had with my RBG brothers, my Pan-African brothers and sisters, that they really want to learn some information because some of them are honestly seeking the truth. They just want it delivered in a way that a neophyte will be able to understand it. They want it to be delivered in a way that a student will be able to eat that meal and then go look for more meals. So we do have a job as Moors to teach our brothers and sisters the truth, the way that the story, we don't have to add religion on it. We don't have to add any kind of spices on it. Just give them the information the way that it's laid out. Give them the origin of the European, the nation states. Give them the origin of Christendom. Let them break down what the Inquisition really was. Break down what the Crusades really was. You feel what I'm saying? Break down how the West Africans had to go into Spain and do what? Topple a dynasty of Moors who became amalgamated into European culture to the point where they were slipping, right? And they basically called these brothers from West Africa to help them out. Blue black Moors, right? Orthodox Islam, like real hard-body Islam. They came over there and was like, oh, hell to the nah. You niggas are slipping. We're going to go ahead and dispose of you and move you out of the way. These are how dynasties were moved around. The original beef that the European has with West Africans derived from that encounter and other encounters, but it's that time period that we are still suffering from this day. What a Kemetic brother could do, and one of the lectures that I would love to see is a Kemetic brother break down what happened to Kemet after they fell, and have a Moorish brother pick up the information, and let's talk about the different things that occurred after the falling of Kemet to the Greco-Romans and the Ptolemy, Alexander and all of them, how they snuffed the lights out of Kemet, and then what rose up as a result of that afterwards, and then give the Moors a credit that is deserving of them. Because nobody is saying, oh, you fucking Kemetic people gave the Europeans the goddamn game because they came into Kemet and got the game from them. Nobody is saying that we're going to hold, the pharaohs in the 18th dynasty responsible for allowing Alexander and all of them to come up in there and ransack the fucking library, or you let the goddamn Greeks sit at your feet and you gave them game, you gave them civilization, you rose them up, they ran into Europe and raised their fucking savages.
To the point where they call sacred geometry Platonic solids. As if Christians didn't use sacred geometry to build a fucking pyramid.
Facts. So nobody is blaming our ancestors who are highly intelligent and full of light for simply shining their light. I cannot help it if I'm around Europeans and my presence regentrifies them. I can't help it. Because what you got to understand is when a group of us come together and we shine our lights, are you telling me that we have the ability to dim our lights around people? No, we're going to demonstrate. Like when we get together, we start chopping it up and building. We have a cipher. If you see it on YouTube or the cameras, white people start crowding around us, feeding off of the energy, feeding off of the light. The shit does something to their DNA. It readjusts it. That's just who we are. So don't tell me wherever we go, we regentrify those. And white people don't regentrify. Melanated Moors regentrify wherever the hell we go. Because we're the enlightened ones. We illuminated. Remember, Europeans go into your depressed, broken down, downtrodden neighborhoods, put up a bagel shop, they sweep, they do the shit that you're supposed to do. They paint the neighborhood, you were supposed to do that. They open a coffee shop, you were supposed to, they don't regentrify, and the rent goes up. They're committing you're a vassal to them. They're committing economic warfare, so we have to even redefine what the fuck is going on. But when we come around, what do? We uplift all of humanity in our demonstration. So you can never charge us. You can never say that we was wrong for doing what we were tasked to do. We carried out our assignment, and that was to take barbarian people who were eating each other, right? They were eating each other. They were having sex with babies. They were raping women. They were cutting people's heads off for miles along and putting them on spikes. We were just like, yo, we can't be around that. I don't want to build my kingdom around shit like that. So we started washing them up and killing them and cutting their heads off. And we were the judge and the jury. And then other Europeans saw that and they were like, brother, I submit to Islam. Give me the lessons to help civilize me. And that's not the only way that it happened. There were other ways, but that's giving it to you in a nutshell. So the people want to learn. Let's begin to teach. That's all I'm saying. You don't have enemies the way that we may perceive that we have enemies. There are not enemies. They're admirers. They admire what you do. And some people hate what they don't understand. But the task is on the shoulders of us to give the people a lesson. As neophytes, though, going back to what I said, because sometimes I hear Moors going mad deep, and the people can't follow it because, like the prophet said, you can't feed a baby steak. How is it that your lecture, Brother Sharif, where you eloquently, scientifically took your time to break down what is the ultimate scientific meaning of when the prophet says black according to science means death? There was a lecture that you and Wesley Muhammad had. I remember that. Shaka Amos was the special guest. He was getting his lessons. And you demonstrated in a 2-hour presentation. It was an empty room because people were not trying to, that was around the time when people were being very, they were running from this information. But you showed up in Harlem and laid it out. How is it that you are in a debate and the people have, the same way that this brother had 4 to 5 months to get his information out, you have the right to get your information out to the people who said unanimously, we just want the information. We just want the information. Just give us the information. And you had the information to quell any kind of dissension about what do we really mean when we says the whole thing. Because nobody even reads the whole damn passage. They just giving you a soundbite. We've been going through soundbites for 8 years. They're not even reading the whole fucking passage of what was being said about according to science, because they say that white means purity. White means all of this. So why the hell are you calling pilgrims white? Why the hell are you calling the Germanic tribes who came out of the forests of Germany? I read it last night. I could pull it up again. These were warmongers. These were child rapists. These were people who carried diseases that were never seen before on this planet. These were people who were dealing. It was a tribe called Vandals. They went so hard with vandalizing and being anarchists that the term vandals is applied to them. So when you're vandalizing things and when you're in the act of vandalism, there's a tribe of Germans called the Vandals, and their actions were so demonic that the word vandal is applied to them. You mean to call these people white? But white means purity. White means pure. But our minds, post-traumatic slavery syndrome minds, are seeing white as a people. You niggas are in error. How are you calling a pilgrim a fucking Caucasian, a Slav, white? So that's the error. That's what we're like, that's not white. You wear white to a wedding. Wear black if it's that serious. But you're wearing white to a wedding for a reason. Because, stop applying the color to a people. You sound fucking crazy.
That's right. But, when that's all the people have, and this is what we're talking about. We're talking about removing foundational information from a person. So that's like taking 1 + 1 = 2, and now you're telling them it equals 3. Those people are going to rebel because of that level of recoding and rewiring is taking place. They're going to be resistant to it. So you're looking at the manifestation of that resistance, and it has to be dealt with, because until it is dealt with, it's always going to have to be. There's always going to be a level of resistance to waking a person up and taking that which they're holding on to so hard. For some of them, that's all they have. When they wake up and there's nothing else around, a black. That's all they have to reaffirm that stance and that position that represents to them commonality, cohesiveness, and union, even when it doesn't physically exist outside. The whole theory of it is what's holding them together. One day we're going to get there. You understand?
Yes, indeed.
And that's what these paradigms represent. You know what I'm saying? That's what these like I said, they can have a paradigm dealing with Pan-Africanism, but they can never tell you when the target date to go back to Africa is.
Correct.
This is what I do. Yeah.
And you could go on Groupon and get a ticket for like $6. Nah, real talk. My man told me, it was a young dude from our hood, right, Phil? We met him at the juice bar. He's like 24, 25. He was in the streets. He got out the streets. His man brought him over to Africa. He bought 2 acres with like $700. He's building a mansion over there. He's like, I don't know what these niggas' excuse is. He got a whiz. You know what I'm saying? He's popping in the town. A soccer star done came over and offered, you know what I'm saying, to do whatever he needed to do. He paid $1,500, got a whole container unit filled up. He sent a used car that he had bought over here for like $1,200. He sold it over there for like $17,000. Like, he's like, come on, son. Are you for real?
Simple shit.
Like, what is these niggas talking about? Like, shit is easier to get it popping over there than it is over here. In his mind. And they think the opposite. They coming over here like, are you for real? They're like, I'm driving Uber, putting gas on my village like Akon. Like, come on, B, what are you talking about? So, in theory, like I said, because like I said yesterday, the people are only bonded, the only common glue in the community is trauma. So there has to continuously be this traumanistic, ritualistic replaying every year of, you know, when these periods of times and these ceremonies come around, and then everyone has to admonish what was done and rehash the trauma. You feel me? And somebody has to be clever enough to come up with an event to go up in people's pockets and fleece them for whatever they got. And that's all it is. They call these people leaders but don't demand anything from them. What's the plan? What's the 3-year plan? What's the 5-year plan? So we're dealing with people that don't understand business because they're not thinking like business people or businessmen or women. Because you want to see a business plan. What's your 3-year, 5-year, 10-year? What's your 20-year? They're not dealing with legacy because they want to, where's your 100-year plan?
Right. Well, see, even that. Again,
you're dealing with a generation of people that's winging it. And all of these wings are now together.
Right. And I would say in foresight that you don't want to be distracted, right? Because you know what doesn't work. You want to work on what works. What works? What works is what Blue Pill just said. A group of brothers who are, you know, willing to come together, that they don't have issues with ego, right? Flaws in their character, where they think that this whole world revolves around just them, right? They're willing to stand on their principles that their teachings put forth. And it says that, you know, we have to move as a family unit. We have to move as a cohesive unit because we understand that we're under Romanistic, you know what I'm saying? We know that there's some people out there that are basically after our heads. They're not satisfied with taking the heads of our kings thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago. They still taking heads to this day. They still want as many crowns of the Moorish king's heads on their walls as possible. So we got to say, yo.
Absolutely. It's the Game of Thrones.
The Game of Thrones all day. All day. The game, and the people, remember the ice. Remember, you know, in the Game of Thrones, where they're talking about the Ice Clan is coming out of the forest, right? Out of the forest, right? Those are your Germanic tribes, and the other tribes in the Game of Thrones would be the other European tribes, the clans. They got they have the Lion Clan, they have the Wolf Clan. Lions are not indigenous to wherever the fuck the Game of Thrones is trying to say that they're indigenous to. Okay. So the Ice Clan that everybody was scared of, those are the Germanic tribes. Those are the tribes that ransacked Rome, brought barbary, anarchy, and all of that shit that we're going through right now back. Those Germanic tribes showed up later in life as the Nazi Party. Okay? And Hitler worked for niggas when he was working, cleansing the fucking Moors up out of Europe for the final cleansing. And also other little things that were taking place. So, like Blue Pill was saying, that we just need to demonstrate. It doesn't even matter if it's only Moors, because I stood on stages at the STEAM conference, the other conferences. I was on the stage with my RBG brothers. I was on the stage with my Hebrew Israelite brothers. I was on the stage with my Moorish brothers. I was on the stage. We was all on the stage giving the information to the people. It's the people.
So they showed up to get the information, and they were looking for a level of information, like Blue Pill said, that spoke the acumen of business to them. Because a lot of them are 9 to 5, and they deal with real business. They're not selling crack. They're not in the black market. They're not on the fringe of society. They're plugged into the matrix, and they're like, yo, I understand real fucking talk. I want to hear business. So we got Moors that have councilmen. They have politicians that are running with them. We got Moors that have discharged debt, and they have proved that they, have all of these, for the people that like the material objects. They like the trinkets. There's Moors that could say, yo, just how I got my trinkets. There's Moors like Shyaam the Liberator, El Amir, who have went into the private and can prove, because remember, we're living in this age now of you have to be able to prove the stuff that you say. Okay? You have to be able, the burden of doubt is on you to prove what you say, because there's a lot of people that talk about what they're doing or can talk about what they have done or can talk about what they own, and they're talking. They're not showing you the receipts. We live in this era where you turn the camera on, you can show the people, I'm an editor. You can show them anything you want to show them. The burden of doubt is on you to prove that I'm fucking rocking you to sleep. So the Moors just have to come together, like I said earlier, like we did business in Wall Street, because how the hell can we talk about the Noon Project in a nigga's basement? I'm not doing that. Let me sit in $1 billion building so we could talk about $1 billion ideas and move forward. That's what I'm talking about. I want to sit in City Hall and talk business. Just give me my own room. I don't want to be around people that's listening, that don't need to hear what we say. But that's what they built doors for. And all I'm saying is, whether it's behind closed doors with the cameras off or it's in front of the people with the cameras on, we have to come together and show the people that we know what we're talking about, that we're not just talking, that we're actually doing. And I promise you, I put my left arm on this shit, that things will begin to alleviate themselves overnight. Shit will disappear. The Moors are going through a period of Wizard of Ozzardry, where you think some shit is going on. It's really not. You are being fooled by the camera. I'm here to let you know that. A lot of the Moors have been put under a fucking spell on YouTube, because you think things are what they're not. But when Sharif showed up, he found out what it was. When the Moors in Brooklyn showed up, they found out what it was. You know what I'm saying? When a lot of people just fucking show up. I keep telling you. Show up. Strength is in numbers. You better be, don't show up with the lone gunman. That shit, we saw how that looked like. That don't work. Show up as a team. Show up as a team. You at war. The wars on the intellectual, mental plane. You got people trying to bury your doctrine forever.
Yeah, me and the squad, we gonna pull up. You know what I'm saying? We already talked about it. We gonna pull up. We gonna put it in the. We gonna back the brother. We gonna keep it going. Sharif showed up. Moors of Brooklyn showed up. Chris gonna show up. We gonna pull up. We gonna do that.
Praise the Lord.
I'm hearing it from me right now.
I can tell you, we're gonna, just on our count with Ali's men and those associated with Ali's men and the Moorish Science Temple of America, there's gonna be a minimum of 55 feathers and turbans in the building just from us alone that I know of.
Indeed.
Yes, sir. And what's crazy about that, to your point, Red Pill, about Moors not being there and present, here's what's wild about that. Word is bond. The conscious community ain't never seen that many Moors together in one place. They might jump out the window and kill themselves.
No, they won't. They're going to be pleasantly pleased that the rumors are true. That the rumors are actually true, that there are actually groups of Moors that could come together.
Right.
That's what, I mean.
Hey, you remember Red Pill, you remember we did that event in Harlem, right? That was years ago, though.
The meeting of the Young Masters.
But when Chris pulled up, You know what I'm saying?
Y'all pulled up.
So
Yeah,
Moses
y'all
out
pulled
here
up.
thick, man. We out here
Y'all
deep.
pulled up.
So like you said, pull up. You know what I'm saying? We said it's going to be 50-something Ali's men and MSTA members. I'm trying to get up there this weekend. I got some other prior engagements. I might miss it, but, you know, we coming. Mother Kush is coming. You know what I'm saying? We going to be out there. I'm going to have some representatives out there for sure. You know what I'm saying?
Beautiful.
Hey.
Well, I want to go back on the point that you made before. You mentioned me about 3 years ago with with Dr. Wesley Muhammad. I wanted to underscore that point with something else. You know, I did that presentation and explained it, you know, and that was just one aspect of science of alchemy. I mean, in this upcoming lecture, we're going to go to 3 different ones. We're going to go to sociology, we're going to go to alchemy, we're going to go to law, jurisprudence, and we're going to go to natural biology. So, you know, we're going to cover it all. But anyway, you know, I dealt with it just from the angle of alchemy. But the significance of that, it wasn't a lot of people in the building, but you know who was in the building? The Nation of Islam was in the building. And why is that significant? Is because the fact of the matter is that the whole so-called conscious community in Nile Valley culture owes their whole damn aura as far as this whole black identity to the Nation of Islam. Prior to Elijah Muhammad, it was not even popular to call yourself black. Word is born. It was Elijah Muhammad doing it, and then young brothers our age at that time and younger that were into music, right?
Yeah, put the energy on it.
Right. Eddie Kendricks, you know, Curtis Mayfield, and James Brown that took that message and made it popular to our people. That's the fact.
Facts.
That's the fact. So we explained it. So my point is, we explained our doctrine. That was if they were there for anything, they were there to hear us talk about that. And when we got done, word is bond. Word is bond. I took them to dinner. I took the Allah team to dinner, and they straight up and down said, we cannot argue with that. And the next question, we can't argue. We agree based on how you all explained it. We agree that black according to science means death. He said. Now, then he asked the second question. He said, does everyone in the Moorish Science Temple of America carry the same understanding that you just espoused? It's interesting. You know, but
what did you say?
I said, honestly, I said not everybody. I said, but you all are dealing with the same thing. I said, you all are dealing with the same thing in the Nation of Islam. And they started laughing. They said, exactly.
Which leads me to an interesting question.
Yes, sir.
And this is the question that's being posed from the other side as well. You don't have to answer in totality if you don't want to. I just want to pose it. Does the rigidness of organizations where there are certain lessons or instructions that are left by a quote-unquote leader, and when that leader makes transition, because those particular instructions or lessons have been put in place and they are no longer mutable because they're saying, no, they're fixed, that's what the prophet left. Can that be a detriment to an organization when, let's say, the missive that you produce can be issued throughout the entire temple to say, this is now doctrine. We need to follow this as said.
That's deep. I would love to answer that question, and I want to answer it in totality. In the additional laws, Act 5 of the additional laws of the Moorish Science Temple of America, it talks about Sunday school, and it says, you know, the teacher must conform himself to the questionnaire, and every member must exercise his 5 senses, those who are able to do so. Now, the whole thing of exercising your 5 senses is really an initiate exercise. This is my point. When the prophet said black according to science means death, there's a high science spoken in simple words. But if you only dig at the surface level, you're not going to grow. The whole purpose of the lesson is to cause you to grow. Think about when you're building a house. The tools never change. The house does. The house appears out of nothing, but the tools never change. The tools are a means to something. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a hammer is still a hammer from thousands and thousands of years ago. It ain't changed. You see, a nail ain't changed. So it's the same thing. The lessons are the hammers and the nails. They're the tools. They're the compass and the square, the hammer, the axe. You see what I'm saying? That's what the lessons are. The problem is that it's the human weakness in the people that are using it in a scanty way. So what you have now is that you've got a bunch of people, and this is a problem in all organizations. This is a problem in our communities. You have the OGs that are just stuck in their ways. They've taken things as far as they can take them. And then you got the YGs coming up that see it and that paid attention a little bit and said, we can take it a step further, but the OGs don't want to abdicate any authority or power. So you have a class structure. You have a class war going on. And that's what you're seeing going on more properly in the Moorish Science Temple of America. So, like, to give my full answer to Wesley when he asked that question, I said, no, not everyone in the Moorish Science Temple of America has that understanding. I said, but when we have the conversation with them, they cannot argue. They admit, yes, that is true. In other words, it's not even so much as they're saying, your answer is right and my answer is wrong. What they're acknowledging by saying it's true is saying, wow, you guys dug deep. You guys did the requisite work in uncovering the jewels in between the words. And that's the purpose of the lesson. That's why the lessons are organic. And I'm going to finish with this. Noble Drew Ali said it on the Holy Quran, the Moorish Science of America, page 3. He said, the lessons in the pamphlet are not for sale. But as I am a prophet, for the sake of humanity, as I'm a prophet and his servant is worthy of his hire, you can receive the pamphlet at expense. The point being, I can't get a master's degree in college just by going to the college bookstore and getting all the books in the curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
I got to go to the classes. I got to go to the lectures. I got to take the tests. I got to do the essays and the reports. I got to go to school. You see what I'm saying? Just having a book don't mean nothing. Right. And that was the point. A lot of them just carried the book. They never got the lessons.
Indeed.
But see, some of us are like, okay, let's say talk red pill, blue pill, and the brother Cheyenne. You all are read. You've read a wide array of subjects. We all have similar backgrounds, so we have similar interests. So I know you've read stuff like, the Emerald Tablet or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you hear a phrase in, like, for instance, in the Circle 7 Quran, chapter 17, when you hear a statement like, the statement of what is the term? Hold on, just a second. That's the term. When you hear the term, I'll just quote the verse. I'm sorry, I'll just quote the verse. The essence of the body cannot be quickened by the holy breath until the fixed is solved. As soon as you hear the fixed is solved, what do you start thinking of? Oh, my God, emerald tablets. The Latin phrase in alchemy, solve et coagula. Boom. It takes you right to the lesson. Then you read further, you're like, oh, my God. In these few verses, he's describing the complete process of alchemy. You see what I'm saying? So,
what's deep about what you said that I just want to add on is when you said that the OGs they don't want to, pass the torch to the youngins. And, that's part of, and I'm glad you said it because it shows that you're progressive in the context of, the lessons were supposed to point us in a direction of being able to free ourselves later on. Where he said the third or fourth generation will come and they're going to carry out the laws. You know what I'm saying? My laws or whatever the case may be. And the interesting thing is, at Drew Ali, when Noble Drew Ali, was on the scene from 26 to 66, or from the 20s to 40s, they did not let any Muslims or Muslims or brothers from Asia or the East come to America for 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So the interesting thing is that we supposed to grow and progress. You know what I'm saying? And do things that are going to take the knowledge and the lessons to the next level, because when you're dealing with certain spiritual information, you know what I mean, and you well researched and you well studied, like you said, you're going to come up against phrases and different things that automatically let a light bulb off on your head that say, oh, okay, this is what we're supposed to be doing with this, or this is what we're supposed to be doing with that. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely glad you brought that up, because when, you know, there's a showing that has to be made to brothers in the Khans community, the Kemetic community, and these other communities, but at some point, all of the Moors got to get together, and we gotta get situated. And the Moors Science Temple, brothers from there, they can't reject Moors who's not necessarily a member of the organization, because there's a lot of Moors who are not, that are still doing interest in doing good works and great deeds on behalf of all Moors, whether they're in the temple or not. You know what I'm saying? So
I want to add something to that, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Mark. Well, I would like to add something to that. First, and what I'm going to say is it will be maybe frowned upon by other members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I'm a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America, a faithful member of the Moorish Science Temple of America, or I strive to be. But the Moorish Science Temple of America is the hub, in other words, the foundation organization of the Moorish Divine National Movement. You understand what I'm saying? Movement. I'll give you an example. If you travel to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and you pull out the residential white pages, phone numbers, you will see literally hundreds of bays and hills. The vast majority of them have never set foot in a temple and don't even know what the temple is. But they do know that they're not black or Negro or African American. But they've never set foot in the temple. So what does that tell you? Noble Drew Ali's, efforts literally birthed a nation. Literally. And those people, even though they've never set foot in the temple, are part of the Moorish Divine National Movement. Their very identity, their very presence on the planet is proof of the movement expanding beyond the boundaries of the temple itself. The temple is a machine that generates community. That's why the church is, even to this day, the church is the hub of community today across the country and amongst our people, because the religious society generates community, but it goes beyond it. It goes beyond it. So I agree with you 100%.
Definitely, indeed. It's I forget which surah is actually in, but it says in the Noble Quran, it says, "O ye who believe, may I save you from a commerce that's a painful torment." When we look at the way we're conducting ourselves and the way we're conducting business in this country as Moors and as a people, and we look to, because Prophet Noble Drew Ali, as the Moorish Science Temple knows him as, he says in the charter that it's founded on the great Quran of Muhammad and to propagate the faith of Muhammad.
And that's right, propagate the faith of Muhammad. That's right.
And when we look at what the state of our people were in the Arabian Peninsula at a particular time, because his brother Wesley Muhammad demonstrated, what I mean, we really are one people, on many different levels, because the brothers in West Africa identify themselves as Arabs too,
Yes,
but the
correct.
thing is we have to align ourselves with things that are going to give us access to greater resources.
That's
so
right.
that the movement can continue to grow and expand. And
that's right.
The brothers in the west part of Africa, the brothers in the east, they're all waiting, like you were saying earlier, Blue and Red, they're all waiting for us to get it together and bring certain things that they don't have that we have. They know when you look at this, when you look at Timbuktu in West Africa, all of the literature that has to be retranslated and different things like that. You have members of the Prophet's family who thought they were going to come to Timbuktu and teach, and got there, find out that they were not ready to even be students. They had to go back to North Africa and the Coleraine University to study for about 10, 15 years just to qualify to come back to Timbuktu as a student. And I know we touched on it yesterday where we talked about the conflict of the Songhai and the Moroccan dispute and how that led to certain things. But what people don't realize is when West Africa fell, its best and brightest was taken here. Now, when you look at all the European nations, right, they all partook in slavery, they all partook in colonialism. Why is the United States more powerful than its European brothers? That is because the crop of Moors that are here were builders, were scientists, were alchemists, were chemists, were scholars, were masons, as far as in building. The reality is that there's a gap missing from the overall Moorish. I'll give you another example. The Malaysian president, it's hard to find this source. I've been looking for it, but I remember seeing it in about 2011 or 2010. He said that Islam was better when the Moors ruled it. Specifically because when it fell to the Turks, it did not, they trivialized Islam when it fell to the Turks. And that the Moors were more tolerant, and the Moors had a certain way that we dealt with Islam that made it so the power to expand it was solely based on what we did with it. Meaning that, and then there's also references, and so now I know people get scared of that word caliphate and all this other type stuff, but the reality is that the sources that say who is supposed to have the true caliphate, they say it's the Moors. Due to the lineage of what actually happened, they say it's supposed to reside with the Moors. Now, I just want to read something real quick from Wilfred Scowen Blunt. It's called The Future of Islam, right? This is page 25. This book came out in 1882. It says, a census of the Mohammedan world, sufficiently well-versed in the Shariat to be referred to more than once in my presence on points of religious law and literature, I expressed my surprise at finding a Bedouin thus learned, for he was evidently an Arab of the Arabs. But he told me he was no exceptional position, and that most Bedouins in southern Morocco could read the Quran. The Moors would have a still higher position in Islam that already given them, were it not that they are on point at variance with the mass of Sunnites. They do not acknowledge the modern caliphate. Those, therefore, of the Sunnites who have acknowledged the Ottoman claim are at issue with the Moors. On all other points, however, the Moors are Sunnites of the Sunnites, meaning Sunni. From the Moor to the Negro is but a step. Though it is a step of race, perhaps of species, the political and religious connection of Morocco with the Sudan is very close. And whatever may be the future of the Mediterranean provinces fronting the Spanish coast, it cannot be doubted that the Moorish form of Mohammedism will be perpetuated. It is there indeed that Islam has the best certainty of expansion and fairness and fairest field for propagation of its creed statistics if they could be obtained. Would I am convinced to show an immense Mohammedan progress within the last 100 years among the Negro races, nor is this to be wondered at. Islam has so much to offer the children of Ham that it cannot fail to win them. The Christian missionary makes his way slowly into Africa. He has no true brotherhood to offer the Negro except in another life. He makes no appeal to present sense of dignity in the man he would convert. What Christian missionary takes a Negro to wife or sits with the Negro wholly as an equal at meat? Their relations remain at best those of teacher with taught, master with servant, grown man with child. The Mohammedan missionary from Morocco, meanwhile, stands on a different footing He says to the Negro, come up and sit beside me. Give me your daughter and take mine. All who pronounce the formula of Islam are equal in this world and in the next. In becoming a Muslim, even a slave acquires immediate dignity and the right to despise all men, whatever their color, who are not as himself. This is a bribe in the head of the preacher. So I can keep on reading, but I'm going to stop there. My point in bringing that up is what I noticed that a lot of brothers that's becoming real popular, and it probably may make me unpopular with some brothers, is the rejection of religion. Because because we have been enslaved by European Christianity, we want to say, and then we figure out, then some people found out about the East African slave trade, which was of a completely different nature. People want to reject religion, not realizing that religion is politics and it is high culture. You understand what I'm saying? And the reality is that it is not until we get back to the deen, which Noble Drew Ali's teaching was leading us to when he was talking about the higher self and the lower self. Because the Quran tells us we're supposed to get our nafs, our desires, in check so that we can do what? We can sit back at the table of the family of nations. We have been excluded from the family of nations. When you look at this world, you're only going to have Christians and Muslims that form this new world. Those are the two strongest political systems in this world. And the Christian has dominated and has snuffed out every other type of religion, which is, in fact, political spiritual science. It's spirituality put into political practice for a civilization to thrive. The only thing they respect and fear is Islam. So it is not until we get back into alignment with our divine creed and live it. I'm not saying we're supposed to be perfect, but there are tools that can solve the very problems we face in our communities. And you got these people who talk about the comedics, and I'm not knocking those brothers, but where is the high culture that can solve the problems in our communities? How can we stop our sisters from being, exposed and being used? And they always talk about the brothers are supposed to protect this, that, and third. These things exist in Islam. When we get back to what we're supposed to do, we're automatically linked in to a global network of resources. All of the Muslim world wants to move away from oil dependence and want to move to sustainable, renewable energy. And they're putting all kinds of money behind that. They're putting all kinds of money into technology. We're seeing a new renaissance. And what's happening is that the first renaissance that happened was by the Moors extending Islam all over the world. Because people forget that the Moors fell to the Romans in the BC era during the last Punic War. And they fell under polytheism and matriarchy. Now, I know some people may have a thing about matriarchy, whatever the case may be, but these are facts. When they lost in Carthage, they lost to matriarchy. They lost because they was running with matriarchy and they was running with polytheism. If we all believe that we're all gods, if we all believe that there are many gods, where's the unity of thought? Because who you believe is God determines your moral value, determines your moral compass. This is about politics. You cannot separate religion from politics. Why you think it is pervading the politics of today when you see Trump and Ted Cruz, the conservative Christians, talking about what? The same thing they was talking about in 1400 and 700 and 800 AD. What we're going to do with these Muslims?
Yep.
So, brothers, I'm just saying, and I'll digress, I'm simply saying that whatever the case may be, we need to look differently at the things that gave us power and the things that allowed us to conquer in the first place.
That's right.
Because if we reject it, we're going to be dooming ourselves for times to come. Because no matter how much Islam is demonized, Islam is the fastest growing religion in the world. Women are converting to it more than men. You know why? Because they want to take back their respect. They want to take back their dignity. They want to take back their pride. So with that, I'll digress. I just wanted to add that to the floor because I see a lot of people talking about religion in the way that, and I used to be one of those people, but it wasn't until I started applying this deen with my Moorish nationality that I really started to see things move in a different direction on a whole different level. So I just want to add that. One more thing. I was down for Eid in Texas this past September. I went to Eid, and they have a thriving community out there of just different nationalities out there from all over the world. And they have a town called Andalusia. They have a town that they call Andalusia, you know, and they have this restaurant that everybody, you know, after the sacrifice, we went there and we all ate, and we go in there, and there's a Sudanese brother, there's a Turkish brother, there's some other brothers from different nations. They say, "Oh, salam alaikum, my brother. What's your nationality?" First thing they asked was, "What's my nationality?" I said, "I'm a Moor." They said, "Oh, brother, welcome. Nice to see you." There wasn't a skip or a dip in the beat of the response from hearing me say Moor. It was as if it was one of the other nationalities. It wasn't like, "Oh, what, we don't know about that." They knew off top. So we just got to get in the line, brothers. I just want to add that.
Yes, sir. Peace. Can I add on real quick to one of my experiences that I just had? I'm coming from LA. I did a layover in DC. I got all of my comedic gear on. You know what I mean? I got the King Tut jacket on, the hoodie, the pants and match and everything. I'm looking like I ran out of the museum somewhere. So a man of Arab descent comes up to me, and he says, "Oh, my goodness, brother, can I just say that I love you?" I'm like, damn, bro, pause. Like, where am I at? I'm looking around like, what state am I in? Because what's going on? He's like, "No, I don't want to offend you. I'm just saying that because in my country, that's how we greet each other, you know, in terms of endearment, and I see that you have a lot of symbols from my country in your clothing." I'm like, "What's your country?" He said, "Egypt. I'm Egyptian." I said, "Okay, pleased to meet you, brother." And then we begin talking. Then he says in a jokingly way, he said, "If we were in my country, I would say you are the master and I'm the slave." And you know what I mean? But he said, in our country, that's what we say to people who we think are greater than us. You know what I'm saying? People who are, you know, more superior. We say, "I'm just your slave. You are my master." He said, when I came to America, that offended African Americans, but I had to explain to them that's just how we talk in my country. That's our lexicon. That's our way of communicating. He said, slavery still exists in Egypt. I said, damn, really? He was like, yeah, you know, there's still forms of slavery. But he said, the symbols that you're wearing, the Egyptian symbols that you're wearing, you know, they had a form of slavery, but it's not the same slavery that the African Americans experienced. He said, of all of the cultures that came into Egypt and ransacked our country, you know what I mean? He gave me the rundown. He said, after the Greco-Romans came, right? He said, after the Greco-Romans came, the Persians came. After the Persians came, the Ottomans came. No, the Arabs came. After the Arabs came, the Ottomans came. So I was like, what, the Mamelukes and things of that nature? He was like, not necessarily. He said, but the Ottomans. But he said the only people who protected and kept our artifacts and things that we were dealing with in Egypt, the ancient artifacts, he was like, was Islam. Everybody else pillaged, destroyed, defaced, and did all kind of other things. He said it was the Arabs that came in and protected it. They were still. He said they and this is an Arab family. I could say, you know, whoever's listening to this would want to. This is a man who's indigenous to that land. Because I don't be seeing people on when they be visiting. Y'all need to turn the cameras on the Arabs and talk to them. I want to hear what the fuck they got to say. You know what I'm saying? I'm very interested in people. That's like coming to New York and you just talking to like Chinese people on 42nd Street, or you're just kicking it with the Arab dude in the food truck. Go to Harlem and talk to the rest. Go to Brooklyn and talk to the people of the land. Those are terrorists. They're not even indigenous to the land. They just got here. How the hell do they know the history? So people be going to places and they talk to people that just got there. They don't have the information. Homeboy had the information. And that's what he laid out. You know what I mean? I tried to get him on tape, but my phone was dying. But he just was like, yo, I'm so happy whenever I see people like you in America embracing the culture, because it's your culture. He was like, look at my nose, look at me. I don't look Egyptian. You do. Look at you. Look at your clothes. I was like, that's what's up. I said, it's tribal, right? There's different tribes over there. He was like, yeah, it's a lot of different people that are there, not just one. But he said the people who carved the stones, they were black, or his version of, he said that's what he knows. So I was like, thank you for that. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that. So just add it on.
Indeed. Word. That's what, I mean, we internationally known as a people, man. Everybody really just waiting for us to get on the ball with it. You know what I'm saying? That's when I started to.
Yeah.
My bad. Go ahead. I'll let you rock. Go ahead. I was just gonna add something.
Sorry. I was in Arizona at the Rock and Mineral Show, the biggest rock and mineral show in this country, Tucson, 2 years ago. And I was garbed up, through there. They had mad vendors from Morocco. They had a whole section dealing with Moroccan artifacts. Okay. Different fossils. A lot of fossils come out of Morocco because Morocco was covered by water at one point. So there's a lot of crustacean, that the real fossilized ancient fish and what have you, and things of that nature. And they had dinosaur fossils and all of that coming out of Morocco. But they had a whole section set up for the Moroccan dealers. So I just came through there to see what they was working with, right? And the brothers greeted me, and I greeted them back. And I'm moving through there. I got my, my pieces on and everything. On 2 different occasions, 2 of those brothers chased me down with a box full of stones. Chased me down through the venue. Brother, here, this is yours. Huh? This is yours. This is from us to you. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what did I do for this? And they was just like, out of just brotherly love. You know what I'm saying? Like, we see, first of all, you like the only melanated person that we see up in here. And we look at you and we see you as a brother. We greeted you and you greeted us back. You feel me? And we want to reward you with this. And I was like, yo, that's amazing. You feel me? If we are getting this level of reception, what's awaiting us outside of these borders? You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to get over there and really reintroduce ourselves into these environments and see what's going on, for real. So, I just wanted to touch on that little piece right there.
Word.
But it speaks to what we were speaking about earlier. It speaks to what Red just mentioned, that there's an international brotherhood that falls under that particular banner. You know what I'm saying? And it's a strong and it's a strengthening brotherhood. And it has its complications and its difficulties based on the sectarian violence that we see. Some people can't make sense of it all, and like I said.
But I would say this, Blue. There's sectarian violence in Watts. There's sectarian violence in Baltimore. There's sectarian violence in Harlem. There's sectarian violence in Brownsville. So if we don't want people to, there's sectarian violence in Chirac. So if we don't want people to come over here and shun us and paint us with a brush like we're all violent, barbaric niggas, savages that should be executed and droned, then we should not ever in our lives fall under the auspice, fall under what the fuck the media is doing to us.
Yeah, I mean, what you have in the conscious community, we have to be very honest with ourselves that we're seeing these niggas as black Republicans, right? They're Trump. They're say the conscious versions of Donald Trump. And this is their approach towards Islam, Muslims. And I just, when they finish with Islam, I guess they're going to try to move on to Mexicans and shit like that. So This is the type of rhetoric that you hear coming out of the community. This is the type of phobia that's being promoted. You know what I mean? This is the type of rebel rousing against religion and Islam in particular that you're witnessing coming out of these people. That's why I said, at best, we are looking at COINTEL. You understand? Whether they even know it or not. They doing somebody else's job. All under, like I said, the auspices of what? Trauma-based programming. Oh, somebody did something to me 500 years ago, and I'm still in my feelings.
You know.
Therefore, like you said, I'm going to make a video saying that we should kill the Moors. Are you serious?
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, an interesting thing is that when you look at what everybody, what some of the people from that side of the fence is saying, it seems like they want to get rid of the one element of our people. As I said, we can go through history and show that it was the Muslim, however you want to term it, element among our people that has always fought for freedom of all of us. To this day, no matter what anybody got to say, Farrakhan is the only one who can get millions of people out when he say it's time to roll out. The thing with Beyonce, when the cops said they didn't want to protect Beyonce, when people, even Johnny Cochran got protection from the FOI. It's whether we talking about whatever element, if they on the deen and not on the deen, whatever theological, doctrinal differences, is irrelevant to the fact that it's always been the Islamic element among our people that has always stood up and fought in the revolutionary sense and character for all of us. Like again, we can go to the Haitian Revolution. You start finding out it was Muslims. It was the West African Arabs who popped the revolution off in Haiti. In Brazil, the same thing. They didn't just do it for Muslims. They did it for all of them. So the whole point I'm getting to is that when people talk bad about it and different things like that, you know, like you said, it's a COINTELPRO type of operation, man. You know what I'm saying? Because the reality is that Moors are actually out here doing things. Like you said, there's Moors with politicians that got politicians on deck. You know what I mean? There's Moors with different, just different things being brought to the table. Our challenge now is just figuring out how to bring all of these things together. And we have to do it with an understanding that we're not going to agree on everything. And nor does agreeing on everything need to be done. Because when we look at, you see how you brought up the sectarian difference? This is how we get around that. The Christians did it, and we can learn from something. We can learn from the enemy. You had Lutherans, Calvinists, Methodists, Protestants, and Catholics, and other Christian denominations that signed the Constitution and said that we're going to have freedom of religion and freedom of conscience to practice Christianity the way we want to practice it. And we won't tell each other how to do such. You see what I'm saying? That's the only way we're going to bring unity amongst the greater global Ummah or Muslim community or Muslim community, as well as the amongst ourselves as Moors. Because the reality is that what we're calling the transatlantic slave trade was actually a Muslim Holocaust. Because the people that were stolen from West Africa were Muslim. When you look up the word Songhai, the Songhai Empire, the word Songhai is the West African word for Sunni. For Sunni, as in Sunni Muslim. That's what the word Songhai means. So because there's the distaste of religion that people have, they throwing the baby out with the bathwater, not understanding the proper context. So what happens when people don't understand is the largest holdings of the Islamic Empire was in Africa. When the tribes converted, they converted because they said it was similar to what they were already practicing. It wasn't forced on them. It was welcomed. So the point I'm getting to is, again, if you want to look at it in a theological sense, you can. But in a more practical sense, it's about the politics. It is about the politics and the economics of what these things we're calling religion today afforded the people in ancient times. When they want to put this thing about secularism, secularism is a evolved form of what transpired in the 1500s under the Treaty of Westphalia. The Treaty of Westphalia was formed to end the 30 years' wars between the Christian princes and kings and the Catholic Church on how they were going to govern their provinces and their respective jurisdictions. Now, if you understand Christianity, you understand that, okay, for instance, if you have a bill, right? Let's say you have a bill that's due in 30 days and you don't pay it in 30 days. They say we give you 5 to 10 days of grace period. That's coming out of Christianity, that grace period, because in Christianity, they're supposed to be under the grace of God right now, which means that you have a certain amount of time to get your stuff together and do your sins or whatever before the great rapture is supposed to occur, or the day of judgment is supposed to occur. Whether people are talking about believing things literally or not is not what I'm discussing. I'm talking about the political, the social, and the economic applications of these spiritual principles and concepts that are found in these particular religions. You understand what I'm saying? When we look at with common law, I see a lot of Moors, they want to run with sovereign citizen stuff. They don't want to deal with their own laws of Islam. What they don't understand is the common law of England means that the common law was the law that they went by. That law came from the Normans. The Normans was a joint venture of Moors who took over Sicily and Vikings. And the ruling elites of the Normans were split down to half by those two parties. And the Vikings elements of Islam and instituted it in their laws, that especially when they brought it to Britain or England. You understand? This is why when you watch The Black Knight, you see Martin Lawrence in there, and they're calling him what? The Norman. They're calling him a Norman, short for Northman. So the reality is that we don't understand the what you were saying earlier. One of the pills, I can't, pardon me for forgetting which one of y'all contributed this piece, but if you blot out what happened from 7-Eleven, we can go back further. But when you want to blot out what happened from 7-Eleven all the way up to the 1500s, you're missing a huge chunk of why the world we live in now is the way it is. And when you understand that after 1492, you don't hear too much before then. You don't hear too much about the Ottoman rule. Not to say that the Ottomans were a group of Turks who took over Turkey or Anatolia. They were a group of specific Turks that was a fusion of the Zans, who was the dark Arabs, or what people like to call black Arabs, and the Byzantines. And they took over. But you do not see them come into play on the global scale until after the Moors fall in what? Western Europe. Well, the Phoenicians, who were Moors, referred to what we call the Maghreb or West Africa as Maori, meaning Westerner. So what you understand is that when we are Western civilization, that's why it bugs me out when people say the West or Western civilization or Western society is weird. No. We're Western society. It's not until they topple us in 1492 that they then take on the term Western civilization. Before then, they was running with Christian. So my point is that if we don't understand these things in context, and if nobody's discussing these things in context, people are missing the key points of the systems that we're supposed to be employing for liberation purposes. I go what gives us the liberation. I do not have an emotion attached to anything one way or the other. If you're telling me this sword is going to chop my enemy down with one slice, I want that sword. If you tell me these bullets are armor piercing, I want those bullets. I don't have an emotion attached to it. And that's our approach as men that we're supposed to have towards these issues. And with that, I digress.
I just wanted to add on that when these two spheres, going back to what I was talking about with the papal bulls, you know what I'm saying? If you do not
Study, what did they say? Study your enemy and study yourself. This is not me talking. It's Sun Tzu telling niggas what to do. It's Robert Greene telling you what to do. It's Prince Machiavelli telling you how to conduct war. Study your enemy. So you mean to tell me that if you don't study the eras of 7-Eleven, if you don't study the Visigoth Empire, if you don't study the Germanic tribes, if you don't study the Vandals, the Ostrogoths, the Visigoths, if you don't study the Austrians, if you don't know who are these royal families, you are a nigga. And I could tell that these post-Christianized, you know what I'm saying, people put on a costume, they throw an ankh on, but these niggas are still fucking Christians. Why do I say that? Why do I have the audacity to say that? Oh, I say that because Europeans are still your God in your subconscious. You're mad at them. You have an emotional disposition towards them, but you have not studied your enemy. You don't know that these motherfuckers was on all fours. You don't believe that. Because if you did believe that, when they began to abuse you, when they start shooting you in the street like dogs, you said that you was the military arm. You said that you was going to handle this shit on a physical plane. You said that. You said you're not scared of them. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is what the studying of that 500 or 700 year block of time will be able to do in the mind of our warriors, in the mind of our soldiers, in the mind of our shooters, is it will detach, okay, the image of David and Goliath. You're looking at the European as a Goliath. You ain't cut him down to size yet because you cannot do that until you do the history on him. You have to study him. All of that Yakub shit is out the window. It's not strong enough because it has not infused the soldiers to pick up arms and do anything in the name of our people. So miss me with the bullshit. It's not real. It's comic con. You niggas need your own comic book. Because you do great in the realm of fantasy, but in real life, there's no bodies dropping in the name of the revolution. It hasn't happened yet. There's nobody swinging swords on them.
The revolution is on dope. The bodies never hit the floor.
They never dropped. We don't got one body that washed up. No fucking well got beached as a result of you niggas. But it's a lot of dead brothers in the hood. You know, my father told me the history of the Nation of Islam and the Panthers. They was killing a lot of niggas. Let's talk about that. There weren't no white people dropping at the hands of all of these militant organizations. They was killing each other.
Hey, yo, I got stories from brothers in Trenton that say they remember Malcolm, OGs. They said they remember Malcolm coming out there back in the day, hanging brothers out of windows, shaking them down. You know why?
I'm not saying, what I'm saying is this. That at times of war, you got to deal with the people that are treasonous, pimps, niggas that sell crack, sex slaves, guys that are raping women. All of your fucking heads belong to us, okay? They need to come off fast. That's the shit that you see take place.
Remember how they did it in Algeria?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Remember
how they did it in China. So the junior mafia, you know what I mean? I'm understanding that the junior mafia, some of the Panthers, they were cleaning up their neighborhoods and dealing with the knuckle draggers. I get it. Cool. But we live in an era now where Anonymous released the fucking names of the KKK. Them people that were standing in a picture where they barbecuing your people, they be in all fire homes. One of them was on Oprah recently. George Zimmerman is still pissing on black people's lawns. All I'm saying is this. I'm not comfortable in this world that we live in knowing that we got these open enemies walking around us. Could we get some fucking cleansing taking place? Could we get something happening? Because that is your job title. You put on all black and it was like, yo, I'm militant. Militant where? Online? In a chat room? Because if I was in a gang and I said I was claiming a color, right? They would get you would have to ride out. There's no talking when you're riding out. There's no talking when you banging, my nigga. You bang. Bang the fuck out. You bang. There's no talking about it because they don't live with it. So what is the thin line that separates that shit from what we talking about? How did y'all lose all of your gangsterism when you walk through? What is in the threshold of consciousness that niggas got to check their balls in a box before they walk into this shit? You niggas are effeminized when you come through the fucking gates. How do we become eunuchs in consciousness? Because niggas' balls don't run well enough. They're not doing the work. So what I'm saying is this. Study your enemy. Get the fucking lessons. Get that white man out of your head. Stop being scared of him. Do what the gods in the 80s used to do. I come from the era where they were across the street when we came through. Why? Because we were walking 80 deep, asserting ourselves. Asserting our blackness. Asserting our Africanness. Asserting our West Africanness. We was 80 deep. Coming through Flatbush, coming through Crown Heights, coming through Bed-Stuy, and we wasn't smiling and beguiling in their faces either. Reparations was on the spot. We wasn't waiting for the Supreme Court to tell us that they took our shit from us. We was taking it back. So what's the problem? Like, where are we going with this? I'm not inciting anything that, may put a person's freedom at bay. But you put the clothing on. You put the cloak on. You said that you're willing, that you don't care about nothing. You go all out. You identify enemies. So how is niggas more aggressive towards our people, their own, than they are to the drug dealer, than they are to the fucking dope boy, than they are to the pimp, than they are to the niggas that rape their mama or their sisters? 60% of these women got sexually abused. So you niggas want to take aggressive energy out of your brother's off a fucking law. Pardon me. I'm sorry if I disrespect anybody's religion. Pardon me.
No, you're right.
But
right.
I don't see you talking greasy to nobody.
You ain't wrong when you saying you want to incite something, because the reality is this. When you're dealing with dudes who, like you said, you just put out the facts, all this stuff going on in the community and all that. Look, the drug dealers, I understand everybody trying to feed their family and this, that, and third, but y'all work for the U.S. government. We already got facts to know that they shipped it into us. They used it to disenfranchise us. Y'all niggas work for the U.S. government. You on their payroll. You know what I'm saying? And the reality is that, a lot of predators, a lot of sexual predators out here. You know why? Because there ain't no men around in the families. You see what I'm saying? So it's a lot of stuff going on. So the reality is like, look, when they shot down Mansour Bey, you know what I mean? Mansour means victorious. You know what I'm saying? To me, that was a typical ritual killing. You understand what I'm saying? We reached out. We put in a public request, a sunshine request is what they call it out there. You know what I mean? We put the request out to get the information on what happened with the reports. You know what I mean? Whatever the family's doing, that's their business. However the family want to handle that is their business. They ain't got nothing to do with no other Moors. You understand what I'm saying?
No, let me make a comment on that, because they make it seem like this brother got shot and he had a fez on or something of that nature, not to mitigate his death at the hands of, the policy enforcers or what have you, but he had his FedEx suit on.
Yeah, but check this. That don't mean they didn't know who to listen. When I got my situation, they put an alert out through all the surrounding townships on me and L. I must have got, we was going through, I'm talking about battles. So if he was a part of a temple out there, you understand what I'm saying? Then they know what time it was. They knew who he was. I'm not buying that. You know why? Because the reality is they play these chat rooms, they play the Facebook, they play the whole thing. They already dropped the facts on that. They already came up with the article saying these niggas is playing social media like regular dudes. So
yeah,
they know Moors was out there saying, making fun of other blacks, saying, oh, you got to be a Moor so you won't get shot like that. They don't care. They don't care.
I want to weigh in on the whole Mansour Bey thing. My particular Grand Sheik, Brother A. Hopkins Bey, is for our grand body under the leadership of our Jones Bey. He is his temple number 11, is the national press office for that for our body. That being said, I worked very closely with him on the issues dealing with the Mansour Bey situation in Temple number 5 out of St. Louis. Now, before I go any further with any details, let me say that fight is ongoing, and there's a big reason why you don't see it in the media. The fight is ongoing. Yeah, yes, sir. In the police case has totally fallen apart, and they're trying very desperately to they're trying desperately to wiggle out of the situation. They've been, Temple Number 5 has been very professional and very diligent. But let me go back when the whole thing was hot news. Right, we issued a press release to all the the local and the national press organs. We immediately got a call back. The first calls we got back was from the FBI. The FBI, Morris Bond. The FBI said this. They said the first thing they asked was Mansour Ball-Bey a member of one of these sovereign groups. Second thing they asked, is Temple Number 5 one of these sovereign temples? When we said no, emphatically no to both, they said, and they were very candid, they said, okay, well, our concern is that if they were, the local law enforcement and regional law enforcement has alerted us to say that they are expecting or anticipating retribution. You already know what that means. That's in police talk. That's called drawing the foul. You already know what that is. That's creating a reason. That's trying to create a reason to do a preemptive attack. So our responses, totally our responses negated that. The calls we got afterwards were from the national media. They asked the same questions in 10 different ways. About the whole sovereign thing. Why? You already know. They already had the story written. And because we wouldn't corroborate it, and because the way in which we handled it, it never went to press, and everything went quiet.
Yep. See, and I'm with you on that, because these brothers is running around here jumping on, talking this. See, that the sovereign citizen movement was started by the Posse Comitatus, some racist European Christians. So it just bugs me out when brothers is trying to adopt their arguments and adopt their tactics as if this is going to free them. Like, this is nonsense right there. I know y'all saw this TV show called Elementary, right?
Yes.
They had a European in there. He said his last name was Bey, and that he is somebody's slave name. He tried to soak a whole. They tried to appropriate the Moorish, certain things Moors say. I won't even say the Moorish flow, but just certain things Moors generally will say in regards to certain things. They try to appropriate that and put that false image out there that the Moors is a part of the sovereign citizens. Because the reality is there may be some Moors who use those tactics, but that's discrimination to try to say all Moors are a sovereign group, because you don't say all white men are a sovereign group or all Anglo-Americans are a sovereign group.
Right.
And started it. They're the ones that started the sovereign citizen movement. But when you see court cases dealing with white Americans, you don't see statements like the Anglo nation. You don't see these statements just simply because white men are asserting what are deemed as sovereign citizen arguments. The white national origin group or race is not stained in the media the way they do the Moorish identity. But this is not new. We find the same strategy and pattern in the papal bulls.
That's right.
Strategy that they're using is something that they continuously reinvent. Continuously.
Yes. And I just wanted to add to that what you were saying, Brother Sharif, is that tremendous. I want to give you honest for how well y'all handle that situation. Believe you me, I know when they quiet on stuff, that's because they're getting their behinds kicked. And I just want you to know, and I want the MSGA to know, that even though we may have certain disagreements on certain doctrinal things, one of his family members reached out to us because we did a video, YouTube on it. She thanked us for doing it. We actually put in the sunshine request, and you know what I mean, to access what was the actual public records and police reports that was pertaining to the case. So, we out here, we for the people. So I just want to let you know, bravo on how you handle that. And if y'all need some backup, we always here. You know what I mean?
Praise
we
the Lord.
definitely
Yes,
stepped
sir.
up when it jumped off in a very
Praise the Lord.
professional manner.
Oh, we know that we know, and praise the Lord for that. And that's how it's supposed to work. That's what's happening with this event this upcoming Sunday. You know, I mean, we're coming together like a wall of brass, and all the like the Noble Quran of Mecca says. You greet. You greet a Muslim, you greet a Muslim in his or her own way. You let Allah sort out the differences. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
Yes, sir.
Brother Knowledge.
Yeah, y'all got to heat it up. Y'all had it cooked up. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, scimitars out. You know what I mean? Scimitars out, heads rolling in the street.
You want to see if there's any questions from the audience?
I think
I know we didn't get a chance
between L and Shyaam, I think they got everybody in the chat room. You know what I'm saying? They still was adding on to the conversation. So I seen some questions. I did see one question. When we get into some of this stuff, okay, let me frame it right. One of the biggest things, I know, Sharif, you and I got into it on this show, and I know Red Blue, we all got into it. What are going to be some of the action steps now to kind of, like Shyaam put it, you know what I'm saying, to be more visual in the public? Not saying with everything, so we don't have to go through this, because 103 years passed by, you know what I'm saying, and it was only like hushes in the back room. If you ain't know somebody, you know somebody. You wouldn't really get what's real. You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying a mainstream approach. I'm saying a more proactive, in the people's faces type of thing, or some kind of through line to where qualified people can properly participate.
Well, I'd like to respond to that. A lot of it, like for instance, the brothers with Murakush, I'm sure that they would answer the same way. They'd be like, yo, we're out here, we're doing things. The problem is, and this is me speaking to the question, is our people have to get educated on what a win is. They don't even know what a win is. They think a win is paying $30 to go and see in a debate. That's what they think a win is. A win is creating a business and employing your people. That's a win. But that takes a level of work and dedication that many of our people are not used to. We still have the slave mentality. We still have, as Red Pill put it, we're still Christian. A lot of us still Christians, man. And what I mean by Christians is that they're waiting for the pie in the sky after they die. So that's why our people are 98% consumers. We don't have the collectively. We don't have the mindset of creating something out of nothing. We have the mindset of sitting at home and waiting for the mystery. We want the job to fly out of the sky and hit us in the head. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When we speak of heaven, we actually get disappointed when there's a whole bunch of bricks on the ground in a pot of mortar. It's like, nah, dude, build your heaven. You know what I mean? We want it ready-made. We want to just add water. That's how we want it, and that's the problem. So our people have to first be educated on what a win is, what progress is, what moving forward actually is. They think the conscious community thinks moving forward is talking reckless about Europeans.
Oh yeah, what happened to Harry on Sunday, last Sunday? They think that's progression.
That was progress.
Yeah, we washed up Harry.
Nigga, we made it. Can I add on?
Look, let me say this though. Hold on, let me say this before you say anything. Harry was trying to make some points when he was saying we have a commonality because we both was getting our ass kicked in Spain.
Yep.
And that Polish ran on us in Germany was because we weren't Europeans. We got that Moorish blood in us. So here we have these forums where people are trying to communicate And the conversations are going so far beyond people's perception of what reality is because they don't have history, or they don't even, have the ability to see when that history is pertinent or pertains to them. That we are really in the information age, but in the age of ignorance at the same time. This is truly the dark age that we in.
He really said that?
There's so many words, yeah.
Wow. Hitler had a term. He said the Moor has done his job. Now he must go.
Yeah. Going back
and
to what I
what's
said.
funny is that when you do a DNA, when you look at his DNA, he had North African ancestry.
He was Berber.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
you got to
more
remember, Shyaam, you got to remember that there's two dominant bloodlines in Europe. There's your Germanic bloodline, right, that they got to rape and pillage, and there's the Moorish bloodline. Okay.
Absolutely.
There's no. I don't know what other bloodlines exist in Europe, dominant wise. So
that's it.
Hitler, as well as whoever the chancellor for Germany is right now, all of them. Because remember, what is the conversation about right now? The African immigrants, which is still it's code word of talking about the Moorish invasion. They don't be surprised if they say this is a reconquista when they start wilding out in Europe and taking shit back.
Hey yo, no, check it. There's videos from these guys, these European guys. They call themselves MGTOWs, men going their own way, right? They got a video talking about how the West is falling and how women destroy civilizations or whatever the case may be. They ended off by saying that Islam is going to take over Europe once again, and there's no way to reverse the trend. Another thing I just want to point out is in Britain, the discussion in academia that they're equivalent to our Department of Education, the equivalent to that in Britain has released a study, and they're going to have a public debate on it, and they say they're going to bring all facts. The public debate is that the current British are not the indigenous people to Britain. Africans are.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
That's in their academic circles.
That's right.
And they define those Africans as Moors.
Yes,
sir. Yes. So what we see taking place on Sunday, family, is a precursor, ultimately, to, in my humble opinion, and I'm only adding my opinion. I'm not saying that my word is born and my word is God and what I say goes. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying, as what my vision is showing me, is that this is a precursor to something that is going to have to take place in the near future when it comes to Moors debating information against an institution or agents that stand for an institution that has successfully put our people in a state of stupor over the centuries. There's no other way that we're going to wake up our people on a grand scale if we don't challenge the same Jesuits and the same conquistadors and the same people who are agents of the church and the crown, on our information. Because we have to really step up and be like, yo, you're not who you say you are, Mr. European. You are the alien. You are the pilgrim. You are the refugee, and here's the proof. Pay homage. You know, so that's going to have to take place.
I think from this conversation right here, what was revealed, even in the few seconds, in the spaces of the dialogue, what Brother Sharif and Brother Shyaam brought out was that the only people that need this proof is us. Nobody else needs this proof. You understand what I'm saying? When those principalities call upon you and they asking to quell, they're looking for warfare and they don't want it, then that's when you know someone respects you as a nation. You see what I'm saying? So this stuff is happening behind the scenes. It's just not getting out to the layman. It's not getting out to the laborers. You know, the word's not getting out to the people. So all they got is these snake oil salesmen selling them a dream. You see what I'm saying? So if there's nothing else, they're out there in the public. If there's nothing tangible that they can see, if they're not there seeing these wins like y'all was alluding to earlier, if they don't see the wins, they don't know what's going on. So all we doing, in essence, will be getting wrapped up thinking that the world don't know and the world knows. Everything y'all said tonight is a testimony that the world knows. We the only people that don't know. You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
So
yeah.
like, therein, again, like this is the importance of showing the win. You see what I'm saying? Showing the win and knowing exactly what it is and making sure that that's brought out and that, we the recipients of that on Sunday. So Monday we'll have a stronger conversation. You see what I'm saying?
Can I share the two things that have to happen before 2016 is over to make the prophet smile, to move our movement and to move our information and to move a 100-year legacy into another 100-year cycle?
Right.
I'm not saying that these two things are the only things. I'm not saying that these are the only things that need to be done and nothing else needs to be done. I'm only saying that these two, adding on to the arsenal of multiple things that will be done in the very near future amongst Muslims and their affiliates, is one, we have to create a documentary. What do you mean, Red Pill? The same way that Hidden Colors was able to highlight consciousness in a modern-day era in the form of a documentary, and it was able to reach people who would never be interested in hearing about the Moors, Mansa Musa, King Tutankhamun, the ancient Kemetic Empire. All of these things were easily accepted by people who were in contact with the documentary based on the way it was put together, industry standards, red camera, good lighting, and that's about it. Because there was nothing really, no disrespect whatsoever towards the brother's production. But I'm an editor. I'm into filmography. He went and did what other people did not, were not, I guess, I don't know, was not willing to do. But what he did was not impossible. I'm just saying that inside of the temples, if they feel inside of the temples and all of the different groups of Moors, if they feel post-debate that it is important in order to get their information out to a public who is ignorant or illiterate of the information, and they may find themselves in another 8-year cycle, debating this all over again, put forth the documentary. What does the documentary do? The documentary does the work that you don't necessarily have to do. It paves the way so when you come in, you could do the teaching. It primes the wall so you can come in and do the painting of that second coat, right? That's how movements are defined, through documentaries. You solidify it like that, okay? And then the second thing that needs to be done is that the Moors have to have a media platform. I did a video the other day, and I said, look, man, I don't know if y'all realize, but the media platforms, the new media platforms are more powerful than organizations. What do you mean, Rick?
Facts.
Are you attacking the organizations? Not at all. I love the organizations. I've come through organizations. But as a person who has his own platform and as a person who's watching other platforms, I'm realizing that these platforms don't have the same restrictions that the organizations have. They don't have the same chain of command. They're allowing the air of competition to be present. So within the air of competition, you have people who are able to climb the ranks, and you don't have to obey. Like, you don't have a Farrakhan in front of you, so you could become a Farrakhan on the platform if you want to. You don't have the restrictions of an organization.
Right. And the 2 billionaires that we know about in this country, that I know about, that are in the modern era, right? Oprah Winfrey made it through a media platform. And Byron Allen, God damn it, they saying he's a billionaire, okay? And then even if you want to put Jay-Z and Beyonce into the mix, they acquired or they came into the Billy status or in their way to Billy status, or their move that's going to push them into Billy status is by dealing with new media by way of title, dealing with media in its new form, streaming. So the writing is on the wall. When I got into media in 2000, people laughed at me. There was nobody writing newspapers and filming anything and doing articles and reporting. Now it's the wave.
That's crazy, Mo, because I still remember. I just wanted to put shout out Four Corners newspaper, man.
Oh, man, I was just about to say that. Four Corners, man.
I remember back in the day when we were doing the DJ battles. We were doing the DJ battles at 5 spots.
Absolutely, at 5 spots.
Yeah,
it is. You remember?
So Four Corners was that word, especially when that Nas and Jay-Z joint popped off. The coverage on that was excellent.
Yeah, we was definitely, on target with all of those things. And, I want to shout out the publisher, my brother JP, you know what I'm saying, for having the vision and me just having that appetite for journalism. I got into the game because I wanted to ask all the questions Source Magazine never asked these rappers, in particular Nas, and I got the opportunity to do that. So these things that will push us to do the things that we love, and now we are in a full bloom, media. It's just an open lane. It's just so many opportunities, and they're calling for it. They're calling for it from all four corners of the globe. They're like, yo, where's the Moorish media outfit? You know what I'm saying? Where's the platform that's going to get this information out, that's going to counteract the propaganda that mainstream media has revved up with their machine against the Moors? You understand?
Yeah, because the Moors are being attacked by Fox 5. The Moors are being attacked by TMZ. You don't got to worry about the local level right now. The Moors are being hammered. When I went down south, I never saw so much anti-Moorish propaganda in my life. When I went to Atlanta, they were killing the Moors on the news. I'm talking about they was washing them. You know what I'm saying? This was in 2012.
I remember Blue Pill said to me personally, and he said it on air. I'm trying to remember if it's 2011 or 2012, but I think he said by the midterm of Obama's presidency, the Moorish discussion is going to be a national issue, and it is.
Yep.
It is.
Absolutely.
He said that a while ago.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying, like, since you put that forth, Red, you know what I'm saying? Since y'all put that forth, y'all already know I'm down. The whole issue is logistics. You know what I'm saying? And in the match what you're saying, I came to the conclusion on my own that, listen, like, yo, a Moorish documentary, I'm talking about a high quality one above and beyond that got everybody in it, has to be produced. Has to be produced. So you can count me in on that project. I got
it has
people,
to be. Look,
I got my people, you got your people, I got people with cameras that got media equipment, that got school training. Let's do it.
I came from Hollywood, right? What's today? Thursday? I came back to New York on Tuesday. I was in Hollywood from Friday to Tuesday. I saw some shit, right? But what I walked away with is two things. The black man is God. When he's in his proper persona, let me rephrase that. The Moorish man is God. Let me rephrase that again. Self-law master. When you go into I'm talking about because, what do Moors like to do? We like to go to, don't send the help to me. I'm going right to the boss. Don't send your peons to me. I'm going right in the courtroom. I want the Supreme Court judge. I don't want the peons. I don't want the underlings. We don't deal with underlings. You feel me? We're not infantry. The Moors are not infantry.
That's right.
We're Air Force. We're Navy SEALs. We come in for the real kill. So the way that these Europeans reacted, because Hollywood, in my humble opinion, is a great, and Blue Pill, you was out there, you could co-sign, and if anybody else been out there, you could share that with me. When I watch Game of Thrones, when I watch the Bourgeois, the Bourget, whatever that thing is, when I watch all of their medieval, because I broke down on the show last night how barbaric law and Roman law are intricately related to the Western or the American, United States of America, their policies and their laws and things of that nature, right? And I wanted to add on earlier about the whole thing about Western, when they split the spheres, when the papal bull came down from the Pope and they split the spheres and they said, you get the New World You know what I'm saying? You get the Western world to the Spaniards, and they get the Portuguese, right? The white Portuguese, like KT was breaking down in Superman versus Batman. The white Portuguese got access to the coast of Africa, Pepper Coast, Gold Coast, Ivory Coast, all of these coasts. They were given access to that aspect, and the Europeans, the Spaniards, was given aspect over the Americas. And that's when they adopted that whole Western term and whatnot, and they separated the old world and the new world. Okay? So we live in this new world of Christian dominance, right? So going back to what I was saying about the statement about the Moors, when we are in our proper persona, meaning that when you know thyself, man know thyself, meaning that when you know who your enemy is, right, and you're not angry about it, you ain't walking around with an ice grill and a long face, but you're going amongst them and you're saying, look, I could teach you a few things about yourself. You know what I'm saying? If you want to learn. You know what I mean? But when they look at you and when they scan you, because Europeans use something called a point of reference system, they're looking at you to see if they have a point of reference for your Negro ass. All right, his pants is hanging down. He got tattoos on his neck. All right, cool. I listen to music like that. I understand what kind of nigga this is. He's down with us. He works for us. Like Shyaam said, he's one of us.
Right.
He's fucking one of us. He is a friendly because he's into hip-hop. He got tats on his neck. Throw a white bitch at him. Boop. Throw a European. Throw what happened to the Moors in Spain, because you're talking about a people who only study their enemy. Okay, they study you and you don't study them. You study them based on the study that they gave you to study them. They're studying you in Ivy League colleges inside of their libraries. They're in the catacombs of the Vatican studying you. They're in the catacombs of Spain. There's a whole fucking building. There's a humongous building in Spain with all of the records of De Soto, Pizarro, Cortez, Columbus. All of their diaries and their writings are all in this one place. That's where they go and study. So when you show up in places like Hollywood, you're in your proper persona, bro, they were bowing down. They were acquiescing to just being, I'm not saying literally bowing down, because I'm not into all of that. I don't need that. I don't even want to be in a society where I got people bowing to me in respects. I don't need that. But what I do need people to do is acknowledge. Don't ever in your life act like if we're in the lobby of a 5-star hotel, don't act like I don't belong there. Don't ever treat me as if I'm not part of this high life, if I choose to be. And that's all I'm saying. And what I realize in Hollywood is that anything that we want to do in the realm of film, we can do it. We don't need their cameras, because there's no such thing as their cameras. There's no such thing as their green screen. And there's no such thing as their screens. It's just, no one owns that. You can't put ownership, or you can't appoint a race to a camera.
All of that is for sale.
It's all up for sale. It is all up for sale. The Hollywood Hills, all of the trappings of around you, you don't gotta ask permission from nobody to do what the hell you gotta. You're on top of a mountain. That's your mountain. They're in Khalifa. They're in the land of Queen Khalifa. They took a valley. They took a place where the sun beams on a valley on top of a mountain and made it their empire. They are operating as a royal fucking empire in Hollywood. The Combs, the Hiltons, all of these people, somebody's phone line is open. The Spielbergs, the Monroes, whatever. All of these bloodlines exist in Hollywood as royalty. That is the modern version of their empire, okay? Like if this was Game of Thrones or any other places, that would be where the Lannisters and all of them was at. That's their crown right there. Neo goes into the Matrix to what? The ghost is in the machine in order to affect it. So you could go right up in there. I just came from there, man. You know, if you want to do that, you don't necessarily. But if you wanted to run up in that thing, you got to be in control of your lower nature, like Noble Drew Ali told you, because all of the
trappings.
Oh Lord, I've never seen so many trappings in my life. Right? I thought Miami was serious, but LA was super serious. But it goes back into the lessons. Don't go into a battlefield until you prepare for war. So you're supposed to be getting yourself prepared from the Circle 7 Quran. You go amongst European women who are, they can fix your ass. I'm just saying. Your ancient moral self will start kicking in, and you'd be like, you think you in Andalusia again. But the rewards for a disciplined man and woman are many. And I'm saying all of this just to say that, brothers and sisters, we have to tell our own stories. We don't have to wait for the rights of indigenous people to grant us the movie rights. None of this stuff. We have to run like there's somebody chasing us. We got to run into the studio. Yes.
I don't mean to cut your wisdom. I want you to. I just want to add why you say that. The indigenous rights of the rights of indigenous people, the United Nations Declaration on Rights of Indigenous People, have provisions in there that indigenous media must be supported by the state. Just want to add that to it, brother. It's in there. To say whatever and to say whatever type of media platform that we need access to, they're supposed to give it to us. So if we come with a documentary, something like that, on Moorish indigenous stuff, they're supposed to open up all the Fox News channels, all the ABC channels, all of that.
I need you to give me that right there, because I'm going to run with that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
But, I mean, the point that the brother making, I think, is well established, is that story needs to be told. We have the wish to do it. The beginning of it all starts on Sunday when our brother lays this dissertation out. We just have to take the elements from that, illustrate them, bring them to film, bring them to life, and let's just get it popping. Get the people, you know what I'm saying? Get the people the 5-course meal.
Yeah, I fully agree.
Indeed, definitely.
I'm talking webisodes, documentaries, news stories. Like, we should have a weekly Moorish. Shout out to Moors TV. I met him in Houston, Texas. The brother, he has a family business. His young sons were helping him out. You know what I mean? He was very focused, very determined, and to capture media, from a Moorish perspective. I'm encouraging a lot of our brothers in different states to pick up that torch and tell our stories. Talk about, mimic what you see taking place in Harlem. It is not hard to see the formula that is being presented to you in New York City. Not just from Sarnetta, from UGR, from Baba TV. These brothers are interviewing individuals who have something to say, who are qualified to speak on topics and subjects. So, are you saying that within the Moorish movement, people are not qualified to build on, different affairs? Because that's all we need to do is start having conversation. You know what I mean? Like, about things that affect us. Like Blue Pill said, like the plethora of events that have happened over the Obama era remedy. That's how I saw it. I saw a lot of situations take place. I was like, whoa, this is an opportunity for the Moors to shine.
Nobody showed up.
So we just gotta.
It was a gala, with all the traffic. Nobody attended. Nobody showed up.
Free hors d'oeuvres, you know what I mean?
All that.
Had plaques waiting for us. All kinds of
hotel rooms paid for.
So we may need, after this debate, to consider raising up a contingency amongst us who are just there to debate. You feel me? Whether it's, just sharpening the sword. Not to say that that's what they're going to be running around doing, but if ever the challenge is presented, if ever the need arises, because we're entering an era where the Europeans are getting very bold with they're like, yo, we coming to wash y'all up. They don't like what happened to Harry. you know? And I want to see the day when my Moorish brothers get up and give the Europeans some of that medicine about where they came from and who they are and the contributions that we gave to Europe and also the Americas, you know what I'm saying, in terms of civilization. Like, they need that work. And I don't see how they could come up out of that one. So we have easy wins on our hands right now. We should take advantage. There's been a level of propaganda levied against the Moors. There's such a thing called pushback or blowback for that matter, and I feel that the time is right to do that. Not to be reactionary, because we're not reaction. They was banging on the Fox 5 and all of them, and, you know, those outlets was banging on Moors for a very long time. So it's not like we doing automatic reaction. This is almost like the Nas Ether reaction. It's delayed. But it's still warranted. Warranted. You feel me? It definitely is still warranted. And like I said, it's just my opinion. I'm not the know-all be-all. I would never profess to be that guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm just speaking about it from my vantage point.
I mean, you're definitely right, brother. I seen a documentary on Latinos that's converted to Islam. And the reason they cited it, I think this is done on ABC or one of the major news outlets did the documentary, short documentary on it. And the Latinos, they said the Latinos themselves, and they said it as when they narrating it, that the reason they're converting is because of their Moorish heritage in Spain. And they're doing it for identity and structure. And so when their conversion to Islam is based on them recognizing their Moorish ancestry and identity.
No, we need to strategize, and we could do this off air in terms of how to, put this production together, documentary wise, because we could strangle an angle on this one.
Absolutely, I'm pretty sure we all got resources we could bring to the table.
We got the movie camera, okay? We have the movie camera. But the brother that I work with, he wants bread. He wants to get compensated for his work, and he deserves that. You feel what I'm saying? He deserves to be compensated for his work, because if we all building and we're doing good business, you know what I'm saying, and we're working towards, being illustrious, we got a reward. That going back to the reward system, that is conspicuously missing in the conscious community. Meaning that because there's no reward system set up and there's no value system set up in this community that we all belong to, that we're adding value to on a daily basis, this conversation is adding value to our community. But because there's no reward system in place, nobody is even charged to go out and do the work. Brother Red Pill, what are you talking about? I'm going to use an example. It's going to be very extreme. By using this example, in no ways am I referring to the actions used by this individual as actions that we must follow or actions that we have to, that these are not the actions that I'm saying that we must do to receive rewards. But the example is so stark and it's so ripe in the minds of our people that I'm willing to use it. And the example that I'm going to use is Dylan Roof. Okay? Dylan Roof understands in the conscious community of white supremacy or the conscious community of white power that they have a reward system in place. How does he know that? He knows that because Darren Wilson was rewarded for killing Mike Brown. And he saw that. He saw the fact that, you know what, if a soldier for the white army puts in work, he's going to go down as a martyr. But his family is going to be taken care of because my community takes care of their soldiers. So when he saw Homeboy raising all that money, then he saw the police officer in South Carolina raising all that money, he was like, F that. When I put in the work, we're just going to put a crowdfunding campaign together because I'm removed from my family and I'm removed from whatever bills and things of that nature that I may have contributed. But how about $1 million got raised up for him in a few days?
He got $4 million, actually.
The detrimental effects of that is what? The detrimental effects of that is he now has done an act of violence and he's done this act of violence as an act of sacrifice of his community. But the rewards that he received as a result of the act of violence has now charged what? All of them crackers at the Trump rally want to be dealing with now. How about that one? How about the Europeans? He created more martyrs with his act of violence than he did to deter them. Because what did they begin to see? Oh shit! Look, there's a reward system. If we play in
what's interesting though is like what your brother Sharif said earlier, and when he referenced that we would pretty much have the same response. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. The reason why a lot of Moors that's been putting in work for years have not been so eager to be out there like that because of this, what you're talking about, that reward system. It's like when you're busy doing a lot of things that you know is going to change things with the higher-ups, like what we do in Marrakesh, they know us in the judiciary. They know us in the political arena. Senators and House of Representatives, they know us. Our people may not know that we're getting busy, but the powers that be do. So when you're busy putting in that work and your people not meeting you halfway, we're not going to come out here and beg for nobody for nothing. We just put the product out. We put work in. If you want it, you want it. If you don't, you don't. But to keep it 100 with you, they're going to have to crowdfund the documentary, man, if they want it. That's just the facts. That's what everybody's doing. That's the new form of raising money.
Yeah.
If you don't want to go to a venture capitalist or if you don't want to go to some bank or something like that, if they want it, it's going to benefit the community, and we have a list of everybody that's going to be in it, and we got big names or whatever the case may be, and this is who's behind the production. Put the bread up, man. We can make it. You know what I'm saying? It's not a problem, but the people got to meet us halfway.
Going back to what I was just saying about coming out of Hollywood, right? This is what the family got to understand. There is no Moorish documentary without crowdfunding. Bottom line, because what they do in negotiations in places like Hollywood, like I said, where I just came from, where they're living on top of a mountain. They're living on top of they got mansions on top of the damn mountain. These crackers have an air of superiority about them. None of your black powerness, you ain't going to change that. When they sit at the table to negotiate with your black ass, they want equity in your company. They want ownership in your project. They want a final say in everything that your black ass is up there doing. So there is no Moorish documentary when they're involved, because they're going to turn it into something that you won't recognize. Like Shyaam said, one of the most revolutionary things that have come along during the Obama era is the Jobs Act, the 2012 Jobs Act, where they have allowed equity crowdfunding, not reward crowdfunding, not that downstairs Indiegogo, Kickstarter. That's downstairs. Equity crowdfunding is where it's at. You're able to raise $500 million amongst yourself. That is revolution. There has never been a time where you were able to do that. You always have to go to the bank for the middleman and the SEC and all of that. They have revolutionized raising funds and making moves. Why are we not talking about that? Is that being talked about in the meetings on Sunday? I'm wondering. You know what I'm saying? That is the solution. We don't have to suffer anymore. We could create projects overnight. We could solve things. We could buy cities and towns. I did a presentation called Facts. I have received no support from any one of the so-called leaders in the community except Shyaam the Liberator. That's the fucking fact, okay? None of my brothers have backed me. None of them. Nobody reached out and was like, I'm willing to help. I got a bunch of entrepreneurs, though. I ain't worried about these niggas. They're part of the tsunami. I will have fucking pleasure washing over them up. I can't wait. Because they ain't about solutions. They're about ego. They're about fleecing the people. And the people is ignorant, so they're going to suffer for as long as they got to suffer. But there's some solutions out there. But we need to come together and get busy and raise this money and do what needs to be done so we don't have to be like Drew Ali said, nobody respects a beggar nation. If you run to Hollywood, you're in a beggar nation. If you sit on the casting couch, my nigga, you're part of a beggar nation. You're going to get 12 inches up your backside. That's what they're giving people these days, okay? That's the only thing that the European got for your ass. So you keep playing with them if you want. You keep running around, asking them for some stuff. That's not what we're doing. Crowdfund. Come together. Let all of the temples come together. I got their numbers. 30,000 of us could change history. There should be no excuses at the end of the day. So I can't wait for this debate to be over because I can't wait to sit down with my brothers and my sisters in the Moorish nation and start working out some solutions so we don't have to go through this again. Because the reason that they toppled us in Spain is the same reason they're trying to topple us in Harlem, is because it's the lack of unity. It's internal. They know that there's some internal shit going on. So when do they strike? They strike when you're weak from within. So we got to strengthen our core. Bottom line, not putting no kind of cut on it. We have to strengthen our core. We can't allow ourselves to beat up on each other because we're not part of each other's organization. We can't allow dissension to be seen by anybody outside of our circles. Bottom line.
Yeah, I want to make a comment on that too. Hold on.
Yeah.
Because you got Moors that have been kicked out of one organization. They're going to other organizations. They don't get along with this organization. Now they're whoring themselves to get on that couch to be the dissenting force and voice in all of these situations just to be seen and heard. Okay?
Yep.
And I know who I'm talking about. And those individuals need to be dealt with.
Hey, Blue, you cut deep, bro. You right. That's what's going on out there.
Come on now.
Yeah.
It's a mentality. It's an energy, right? It's a mentality and an energy of weak-minded individuals who are part of the facade. They sit back and they acquiesce to the facade. They sit back and they acquiesce to the lower nature of jealousy, envy, want to be the fucking man and all of this dumb shit. You dig what I'm saying? With no work whatsoever. How can a corpse talk? Huh? How can a body talk? I never heard a fucking dead man talk.
You know, I'm going to say something real quick, too, man. I'm glad that you brought up the aspect that we have to fund it ourselves if we want to maintain the integrity because, you know, a lot of times people, they want, like, for instance, you know, Debbie Allen, when she wanted to do Amistad, nobody wanted to put the bread up, so she went to Steven Spielberg. He put the bread up. So it's like you can't keep complaining about something not maintaining the integrity of what we want it to be if we're not willing to fund it ourselves, especially in the era where we're able to do that. So I definitely want to give you honest for bringing that up.
Shit, she don't have no problem raising money for Hidden Colors from his network. All of those movies are crowdfunded.
No problem whatsoever. Remember, Danny Glover did a movie on Toussaint in the Haitian Revolution, right?
Yeah, I think he that up because he got bread for Chavez too. You know what I'm saying? Gave him $17 million.
But then he was like, "Yo, I'm becoming capped out. I need help." Right? And I don't think that he was received. He received that help from the community in the form of crowdfunding. Spike Lee crowdfunded his last 3 movies, and they was all. Let me not beat up on the brother. But yeah. If somebody pull the trigger for me, when Tony killed Manolo, I want to look at the body. Like, just kill him. Go ahead. You know, but we live in that era. Huh?
You said what?
I said when Tony killed Manolo, I had to look away. Just go ahead and shoot him. I don't even want to look. You know? But we live in this era now where we are ultimately in control of our destiny. It was prophesied. It was in the prophecies and the warnings, and it told us that we are going to come amongst. This time we'll be responsible for our own image, our own message, and our own movement. And we're here, and it's a beautiful day. You know what I'm saying? It is a wonderful time to be here.
Is Sharif still on the line? Well, if the brother's not there, I still want to put it on record because we want to skirt around this. You know, there's Fredo Corleone ass niggas that's siding with the opposition. Is Moors giving them information, right? You do know this.
Nah, I didn't know that.
You know, there's Fredo Corleones in the family. I said,
Loud and clear.
I can't hear you. You said what?
I said that was loud and clear.
Yeah, you have a certain segment of disgruntled Moors that anytime these conversations appear on national forum and they're not included, they start pouring salt all around and sabotaging anyone that has anything to do with an agenda that's not aligned with theirs. So you have Moors that are trying to sabotage the situation by giving the opposition all sorts of talking points so they can get on the couch. You understand?
That's crazy.
So as much as we talk about unifying,
the horrors of consciousness,
if you don't deal with the Fredo Corleones, you know what I'm saying? That body's always going to end up with a hole in his head. So let's be very mindful. Everybody's not going to make the cut. I wish I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, all this peace shit is a fallacy. God damn it. Somebody got to be dragged out.
Yeah.
No doubt.
That's we keep it in line with tradition.
Yeah, man, you got to be able to handle shit internally, because the reality is, you know what I mean, there has to be, like you said, Rev, you know, we got to get the core together. And once that core is established, there has to be a vetting process, you know what I'm saying? And not everybody can eat at the table on that level. It's a trickle-down effect, you know what I'm saying? Some people get with, you know what I mean, if you're part of the general populace. Look, my thing is, at this point, the circle needs to be closed. Who don't got stripes, whoever don't have stripes can't be allowed to just be everywhere. Like, I know what you were saying, like, you know, there's no when you create the format and the platform for, you know, Moors to come on and say what they say, you know, it can't just be anybody. You know what I'm saying? That's saying you have to have something to show. If you don't have a product, a service, or a story where you came out victorious, or a story where you may have took an L and you learned something from it that's valuable, you shouldn't be allowed to be out there. Like, I see so many dudes pop up out of nowhere, and I'm like, who is this guy?
And that's
everybody looks at
partially,
this guy as he's an authority or something.
Hold on, that's partially why this debate is taking place. Again, we want to skirt around the fact that you got Moors running around Harlem sounding crazy on camera consistently, all right? And these was the dudes that was terrifying these other dudes. So you got small people terrifying small people, and now the small dog is barking, okay? And when you put a microphone to to that small bark, it sounds loud. Or you barking on a bullhorn, and it sounds monstrous. So now that's what we're dealing with. You feel me? But there's a lot of cuckoo Moors and picking up Circle 7, coming out of nowhere, and all of a sudden they're the national spokesman for the Moorish Science Temple of America, or the movement per se.
Yes, going back to the statements earlier that I shared, that if the Moors don't have a presence in the streets, not only in New York, but in all of the major states where they're trending, right? Because what does it? How does it help that if an organization is trending, right, and they're nowhere to be seen in the streets? I want to get information. I don't want to get the Moors are suffering because you are allowing people to give third-party information about your organization to people who are willing to listen to the information, and that shit is scaring them away. Like Blue said.
Now, I'll keep it 100 with you. I'm guilty of that. You know what I'm saying? Because I know we popping in a lot of hoods because I hear the words that get back to me. But a lot of people, by the time they get to me, they be like, yo, I came to such and such. I brought y'all up. Brothers was trashy our name, this, that, and the third. And it's like, I know for a fact we brought a lot of people to the movement just off the core videos alone. That's no ego involved. That's just facts. But you know what I'm saying? Listen, we here to correct all that. I got a program I'm dealing with a brother that's in North Carolina. He got this thing called Supreme Teams. He dealing the school system, and he got a program that he dealing with young brothers and getting them out of the gangs and all that. And we're gonna take that program nationally, and we're gonna be out there in the streets more often, man. You know what I'm saying? We back out. So I know we definitely guilty
on that front, you know what I'm saying, of not
Because-
being on the forefront of, you know what I mean, getting information directly to the people. Because, yo, you know what I mean, I can't even front. I'm not that old. I ain't old or nothing like that, but the internet just changed, and I know everything about the net really that's going on, but it changed with Instagram and social media. You got to play that game if you want, you know what I mean? So, we going to fix that on our end. We going to fix that.
Yeah,
as long as y'all brothers supporting, you know what I'm saying, and everything's good, just keep giving us the support. We're going to give y'all the support. We're going to do our part to change that, fix that. You know what I mean?
Say no more. Moors they have to be, because remember, it's a street movement now. Conscious community is a street movement. It's street orientated. Why? Going back to what I said before, all of the platforms are street based. They're not sitting in living rooms doing interviews. We're in the streets with cameras, running around, tagging and da-da-da-da-da. So the people is like, they see the Nation of Islam with the papers. The Nuwabians is out there. They fezzed up. They got their thing, Free York and all of that stuff. You know, the RBG got the flag flying on 2/5. You even see some Kemetic people walking up and down. You get what I'm saying? They don't necessarily, I don't think the Kemetic brothers have a straight setup where you could see on the walls ancient Kemet, the different dynasties, the pyramids, the Medu Neter. That's not present, and the Moorish demonstration is not present. ISUPK, different camps of the Hebrew Israelites are present. The red, black, and green RBG military brothers are present. Pan-Africanists, they walk up and down sometimes. The Nation of Islam is present. God damn it, the Scientologists is out that bitch. The Mormons are present. Right?
Yeah.
We're talking about the epicenter of black consciousness or quote-unquote consciousness, because I begged and pleaded with Sister Roz over the years. I begged and pleaded, yo, please have a presence on 2/5, not only inside of the building on Wednesdays, in the streets where the shit matters the most, because your dissenters are in the streets. That's where they're washing you up at, in the streets, because you ain't out there.
And we're gonna put some people out there. I'm gonna put some people out there on 2/5. That's sharp. I'm gonna put some people out there. Give me a couple months. I'm gonna have some people out there.
2/5, West End, 3rd Ward in Houston. You know what I'm saying? Philadelphia, right? And maybe in some places in the West Coast to start out.
Yeah, we need them in the Crenshaw district. I got some Moors out there. Shout out to my LA Moors and, you know, the Chi-Town, of course. They have a presence as well, but you know, we just got to unify these platforms, and that's what the people want to see. That's what Moors across the country want to see. And these young people that are on the outside looking in, they just want to learn. You know what I'm saying? They just want to get put up on some game, and, you know, financially, people want to get their affairs in order. That's where you come in, like you said, law, politics, and finance, like three-headed monster. You know what I'm saying? Put a chain on it and walk that dog, and you got it.
Got you.
Facts. Yeah, I don't feel like you have enemies in the RBG world. I don't feel like you got enemies in the Nile Valley movement. I feel like you have misunderstanding. There's not, because if there was enemies in there, when we showed up, wherever we show up at, we would get to scrapping. It would go down. But that's the opposite of what happens. It's all love. Mm-hmm. We chill in a hotel room, spending the night together, building. I just was in Norfolk. You was in Norfolk with us, right, Blue? We was all together, right?
Yeah.
The whole everybody was RBG.
These are all. I mean, separation on those accords is fictional. It's all in our heads, because these are all of our brothers. If I'm standing next to one of these brothers in the street and something happened to them, I'm scrapping. I'm going all out. You know what I'm saying? I'm holding them down. I'm riding. Bottom line. And when you know that that's what it comes down to, you know what I'm saying? I know that if I got $1 and he need some bread, I'm going to give him 50 cents. So I consider that my brother. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, the things that separate us are really fictional. These are things that exist in our head. They're not necessarily that real. There's always going to be a level of magnetism and brotherhood based on, those are the brothers. And, of course, you know what I'm saying, we have our sisters as well, but we're just talking about coming under a common understanding or overstanding so we can move as a fortified unit, because I'm about movement. Like, when are we going to go for the goal? What is it? How far away is it? You know what I'm saying? To use our measurements, trajectory is there. Let's get to it so we can start moving around this globe and making waves. That's all I'm talking about. Because I done been in this thing too long. I done seen it metabolize to what it is now. There's no excuse that we're not where we need to go because there's nobody in our way. You feel me? Of course, there's obstacles in the road, but we can really, you know what I'm saying? We can overcome all of those obstacles, especially as a team, especially as a unit. You know what I mean? So whatever any people in the organization's wildest dreams are, all of them is attainable. I think that, for those, because some people need to feed their ego. Some people need to play to that initially at the onset, but they should be matured enough at this point to say, you know what? I was scared initially, so I broke off as an individual to try to get it. But now that I've gotten but so far, I know that as a team I could go so much further, so much quicker. You feel me? Mm-hmm. You already got a taste of it. Come back home and let's do it as a team. No one stands to lose anything. We only stand to gain. Because I know I got an abundance of things. I got a wealth of stuff to offer. You know what I mean? And I'm willing to open that up to the family so the family can eat. So we can sit at a family table and break bread. But,
Well, we got some callers. We're in OT right now, so if you get disconnected, you won't be able to get back on. I'm go to these callers. We just asked if you have a question or a comment, keep it brief. We don't have a lot of time left in OT, so I want to make sure some of these calls get addressed. All right, we're going to go to area code 574-300, 574-300. Area code 574-300.
Peace to the caller.
All right, we're going to go to area code 310-569. 310-569.
Yep. Yo. Peace.
Peace.
Peace. What up, Red Hill?
What's the deal?
What up, Shyaam? What's up,
Peace, family?
Brother Sharif, if you're listening, I met you on 125th in the summertime, over, messing around with Sinette and Red Hill. I shook your hand, but we didn't get a chance to chop it up, man. But what you guys are saying is right. I talk to people in Hollywood every day. I talk to producers, I talk to directors, and I break down, the Moorish history and stuff to them, and they're interested. A lot of people are ready for the information. We just need to get some brothers out there to write some heavy scripts. That they asking for. They asking for a script with the beginning, middle, and end.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Proper format.
Crowdfunding. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But see, another thing that needs to be done, just like I told you on Saturday, when I saw you out on Hollywood Boulevard, like I saw Polite on Hollywood Boulevard, and like I was talking to, it's the 50. Yeah. Just like I was getting at Cujo up in Canada. This is the problem that I have, and this is the problem that I'm seeing. Everybody needs to come and chop it up together. You know, there's a lot of things. We're not going to be able to move forward unless brothers come together, admit some things that they done, you know what I'm saying, and chop it up, you know, because everyone else, you know, is looking at, when I talk to people about the Moors and I give them certain information, they go to the Moors in court. They go to the KTLs and all this other stuff, but what they also are seeing are brothers getting online talking about this dirty Moor here, this dirty Moor there. Just like you guys were saying earlier in the phone call about dude, you know, the brother on there talking about we got to kill some Moors. Everyone sees the issue within this Moorish paradigm,
right?
The so-called community, and we got to start checking each other on this stuff, because if we don't check each other, everyone else who's interested in the information, they're going to come searching for the information, but they're going to run into the brothers that's going to say, oh, Mary Kush don't fuck with the niggas, this and that, because they salty, because they feel like there's actually Moors out there within that's on YouTube that feel that everything should be for free. Everything can be for free. You got to make a living off your work. You got to make a living. You got to pay. You got to pay for services. Everything cannot be. Everything cannot be free. So that don't give anyone a right to go out there and start trashing somebody else, because, like I said, I was getting out of brother 2 weeks ago, last week, but I was giving some information to another brother, and he started trash talking, and that right there has to stop. Got to stop trash talking when you're trying to teach someone who's trying to come into the information some knowledge and point them into the right direction to get some factual knowledge. We got to stop these other brothers from hating, because it's pushing people away. It's pushing people away. You see what I'm saying?
Nah, you're right. Yeah.
That's an essential point, because that also represents the perpetrating, in the sense when Moors is talking about Islam, because Islam prohibits backbiting. But we see,
how about it?
As D50 is explaining, backbiting is a common theme in the quote-unquote conscious community. You know what I'm saying? And not just that, but it extends even into the Moorish community. You know, so, you know, I agree with that. He's absolutely right.
Yeah, we gotta police our own people, just like the brothers was doing it back in the day. You know, I heard people mention the Nation of Islam and the Black Panthers. You know, they was out there policing their own people. You know what I'm saying? It has to be done. You know, and when we have, you know, people out there that's putting in the work and doing these movements, we also gotta stop the sisters from coming in and trying to sabotage, you know, other people by, you know, just doing reckless stuff. You know what I'm saying? We got to control everything. We got to, if we're really truly trying to move to the top and start putting this information out and start getting scripts written, documentaries, and telling stories, we got to tell a story. We got to do it right, and everyone has to be on one accord. We can't be hating on somebody else that's actually putting in work and got actual proof of them putting in work, because, you know, somebody else want to be on top. Someone else want to, you know, proclaim to be something that they shouldn't be. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it has to be, like I was telling, you know, there has to be a council of level-headed brothers, and there got to be tiers of people that answer to a council, and that council has to be in control in correcting and regulating certain brothers that are out of line. Because we don't want.
I agree.
We don't want other people out there that. I mean, I'll put it to you like this. I don't know who was saying it. I think it was you, Red Pill, that was saying about, you know, brother, you know, the cat with the tattoos. And he's white, but he's riding. There are a lot of people who are into the information. I talk to people all the time. And oh yeah, I've seen the video. I've seen the video more than once. I've seen, you know, this other stuff. I was taught this history a long time ago about my parents, about my grandparents. So
Right.
we don't want people to start going back into the information, seeing all the backbiting, seeing all the hating. We don't want to hear stories about how brothers was standing up in court and they didn't get no help from some other people that they're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? We gotta police everybody on this stuff, man, because whether you are active more out there wearing the fez or just a brother that know the information not wearing the fez, you know what I'm saying? It's everyone's duty to check people who are out there spreading, putting in their blood, sweat, tears, and energy to put out the correct information.
Right. Agreed.
Word. Perfectly stated.
And that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to go ahead and let you get to another caller.
Thank you for that, brother. Peace.
No doubt.
Yeah, that's why that's where the caliphate comes in.
Shyaam call drop.
Okay.
I see L still with us.
Peace, God. Yeah, that's like I said, that's where that caliphate comes in at. You know what I'm saying? That level of regulation. You know, we don't have no regulation. You know what I'm saying? There's sometimes you gotta keep the sport high. Got to.
It was a book that was referenced on the show last night. I think it was I know Cheyenne know the title, but The Discovery of America, something like that. And the brother Sharif-Bey was familiar with it as well. And I recall that book as well. But one of the things I remember from it was that it stated that one of the problems with one of the root causes of the Moors' fall in Europe and West Africa was their inability to establish a centralized government.
All those power struggles.
Peace, L. You there?
Yeah, I was getting a text.
And that caused a lot of internal strife, right?
You would have to call him on a three-way, L, in order to get him on.
All right.
Yeah.
Red, you were saying?
Nah, I was adding on to what El Amir was saying. There was a humongous power struggle that was taking place within the Moorish dynasties around the time of the fall of the Moors. There was a Moor called Babdel, Muhammad X, and he was going to war with his uncle. You know what I'm saying? And Muhammad X was a hoe-ass nigga. Okay, that's the terminology that they use today. Because he was down with the Europeans. He was down with Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand as a lackey. Like he all of the Moors at that point were vassals, the same way that Negroes, coloreds, and blacks are vassals to the Europeans now. You pay the taxes and you stay in line, right? We'll make you feel like you got some power, but you pay your taxes, you stay in line. You know, you're part of a feudal system. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's give us your children. You know, when we want it, when we want to eat the children, we could take them and eat them, and there's nothing you could do about it. Wow. We'll just say it came up missing, like they're doing for 30,000 people. Wait, 400,000, my bad. So there was a power struggle. He sold out his uncle. He sold out the Moorish nation, and he opened up the gates and let them in. You know, I'm paraphrasing about the struggle that took place, but yeah, internal strife, and the Europeans were on the edge of defeat. And when they got the word of the internal power struggle within, that made them push harder. That gave them the ammunition that they needed to keep banging. And then they put them under siege. They surrounded them and starved them out. And then he acquiesced and opened up the gates, handed them the keys on January 1st, 1492. Christopher Columbus was right there in the bleachers. He was there at the battle. He was there to witness everything. Directly after that, he was to ships that were commandeered by the Europeans. That were, the Moors had control of the ships, the maps, and everything. After the defeat, after many heads were decapitated, many people were tortured, many people were raped, and all kinds of things. Skinned alive, burnt, all of these things that the barbaric, Germanic, European, satanic tribes, right? Because that's who they were. That's who they are, okay? And they came together to destroy the Moors. So when they finished doing all of that work, they finally got a person who was like, you know what? I'll show you how to get to America, or the Americas, or the forbidden land, the land of milk and honey, Alamexum, or whatever they wanted to call it. And that's what happened. You know what I'm saying? So if your core or your if the inside of your organizations or the inner workings or the foundation is not strong, and you're facing opposition who's taking advantage of the fact that you are scattered and all over the place, you're going to have yourself an interesting fight.
The infighting is still going on. We got a scenario where we got one faction of Moors that are anti-Moorish sovereignty on the premise of the sovereign citizen faction, which doesn't make any sense. Sovereign citizen philosophy is one thing, but Moorish sovereignty is another thing. That's something that all Moors should be striving to achieve. American Indian tribes are striving to achieve full sovereignty. They are considered dependent nations by the government by mere factor of their citizenship and certain other benefit and trustee relations that they have with them. So I think
Are they considered vassals?
Say that again.
Would they be considered vassal states, the indigenous tribes right now to America?
They're not considered states at all. They're considered to be tribes. They're also considered to be nations, but they're not considered to be sovereign nations. Sovereign nations can make treaties without any permission from anybody else. The United States government has barred American Indian tribes from being able to make treaties with other nations. And even agreement, like they can't even sell.
Yeah, and they got a monthly stipend.
Yeah. But
so that's very vassal-like, though, right? So they're vassals of the state.
I mean, essentially, vassal is more of a medieval term, type. Yeah, I mean, a little bit more colonial, closer to the colonial. In a sense, yeah, they're modern vassals in a sense, but they're not considered to be states generally. But,
still tribes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so my main point in bringing them up is the fact that they're dependent nations that are striving for sovereignty. They don't let media jargon about certain individuals being sovereign citizens turn their agenda for their own sovereignty. You know what I'm saying?
But a people who have no media other than the one that they entrusted, you know what I'm saying? The same media that they were told not to trust, but the same media that they go to eat and drink from and get their information on, what's going on in the world. They're going to be victims of propaganda. If I was in power, I would be cooking these niggas more than they being cooked right now. I feel like the European is taking pity on niggas right now because I would be cooking. I would be cooking the hell out of these niggas. I promise you. You feel me? Just because of the ignorance and the fact that, you know, come on, man. Just the lack of anything. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of complaining and no action. So salute to everybody that's out there that's about that action. Salute to everybody that's out there that's about that life. Salute to everybody that's out there that ain't playing with this thing right here. They really doing what needs to be done. And it doesn't need to be said. It's being shown. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else, you know, I don't know. I don't even know what to say right now at this point because I don't want to be condescending. But it's a war on multiple fronts: physical, mental, spiritual, through the food, biological, genetic. I don't got time to be worried about economic. I don't got time worried about, you know, coming down 125th Street, getting off in Harlem somewhere, and I got some fucking weirdos staring at me as fucking if they want a problem. You know what I'm saying? I don't got time for that. I'm worrying about this war that's on us. So anytime anybody that looks like me even tries to act like they want a physical problem or there's something that's wrong in my doctrine that they want to threaten me physically, it's off with your fucking heads. Like that's treasonous right there. That's a violation of everything that I stand for. Because the work that we do and the work that many of my brothers do, like my Moorish brothers, is that we wake up every day not knowing if this is going to be our last day because we on the front lines, bro, and we up against a real enemy. He's not playing no fucking games. He doesn't sit around and tap on his keyboard, you know what I'm saying, in between Pornhub. You know what I mean? You want to jump on YouTube and bother people. That's not what my enemy does. My enemy is precise. He sends drones to your house. And we don't got time for the games, man. Like I told somebody earlier today, I'm a grown-ass man. Don't put my fucking name in your mouth playing. I'm not here to play. I don't play around with niggas. This ain't a fucking game. We at war. Why is grown men acting like fucking children? What the fuck is that about? How's people over 50 acting like fucking kids? And who amongst us is going to start holding these niggas accountable? That's what I want to know. Where's the muftis at? Who's going to start holding these fucking niggas accountable? Who's brave enough? There's a lot of tough talking in the community. Who's man enough? What organization is bold enough, right, to step up and do what needs to be done? Who's going to be willing to make the call to say, all of you motherfuckers, I don't care what your name is, what your lofty title is. If you standing on the shoulders of the ancestors claiming consciousness, all of you niggas got to show up in this room. And we closing the door, we locking the door, and all of you motherfuckers got to sit down, humble yourselves. We're going to walk out of this door, and there's going to be some rules set, and there's going to be a level of accountability set. When is that going to happen? Because there be some low-key cowardice taking place where motherfuckers see the violations and they don't say nothing and be mad at everybody else. They don't want to say nothing. They don't want to pull the motherfucking guilty parties up. They don't want to ruffle feathers. I don't know why. But we live in like Blue Pill said, anywhere that there's no regulation, anywhere that there's no laws, it's a lawless society. Anywhere where there's no edict set, anywhere where there's no parameters set, do you see what's taking place? You want to belong to a society or community or a network where there's no one to answer to no one, there's no law? They want to get it. If there's no religion, there's no law? Where's the law at? If you're out there robbing people, Who the fuck? How are you going to get pulled up for that? So, how could anybody even judge? How could anybody point fingers? And you belong to a lawless society. All of us belong to an unregulated, lawless community where nobody is held accountable for shit that they do. That's not healthy. That's not healthy. People coming into this community is going to laugh at it. That is not healthy.
It's uncivilized.
It's very uncivilized if that's the case. If that is the case, then it could be very uncivilized. And I'm not going on record saying that the community is extremely uncivilized, because I could say that over the 8 years, there's been a lot of civilizing taking place. There's been a lot
I'll go on record and say it. Shit is hella uncivilized. Shit needs to be regulated. Okay?
Yeah.
You got to bring Five Finger Smacks back. I'm sorry. Just has to be.
Yep. We got like 4 minutes. I don't want that lady to hang up on us. Every time we get together, you know what I'm saying? We close out all the way out.
Yeah, she clipped us early yesterday.
Yeah. So I'm calling in because I'm about to die. Peace to y'all. Honest for having me on.
Salute.
Salute. Peace.
Salute.
Salute.
All right. No doubt.
Yes, indeed. Right. So here we are at the ending of another phenomenal presentation, demonstration. Thank you for having us on the platform, for bringing all of these forces together. I feel that this conversation has definitely pushed the community forward. You know what I'm saying? And I look forward to see what comes out of Sunday. You know what I mean?
It's gonna be a night at the museum, son. You know what I'm saying?
And I know you niggas